The Tale of Genji, Total Angular, Murasaki Shikibu, Omoi of Fire if the heart moat grilled or better and gun draw. To each to smoke if only Akiko. Years also familiar river wind. This year's autumn ear noisy. While listening only Princess Aruji from that wait the sadness. Had been preparing for Buddhist memorial service of year 1 anniversary of Chichimiya. The most part of shitaku with each other is made at the hands of Acharya Matera source Trinaganon. Mountains. Queen we just thanks Hofuku issue to the monks. Those bits and pieces of sote other kyokan. Is inconvenient if what is their toka. Because what the periphery of the women things like are something that requires it or not can only be made at hand remains to be careful. What if I come with sponsors such as Kaoru? So far things also then is carrying. But seem to Kaoru come go out even in itself. Was the princess our clothes gift aligned others to deliberate after removing clothes? Acharya at that time also came out of the temple. Two people of the princess and when you're teamed up the thread of the decoration of Nako. Right and paint to be. Is each to those paint to be nuclear if those unexpected disappear in Omuakao only Karu. And etc. Because say enough unexpected is was telling the sadness. From the end tufts of bamboo blind of the total angular raised knot. Tied at massive the braid. So was visible through the open seam of Kicho. Kaoru nodded with it. I guess you've had similar feelings. Tato eyes their own tears told Transmural going to the ball. Also, even if these literary thing as Kaoru said, also embarrassed for an answer by such as response. The parting of the ways out of the heart and not if those see root to thread Tsuruni Yuki asanas. Koko Robosoku also Thinko referred to as the loose kana. It had been considered in whether was not the even was lonely farewell to live. Incidentally a inkstone was a draft to create a Buddhist prayer to Buddha to sentence drive. Kaoru. What more even if at the same Kome signed a long-time pledge to total angular. Showed a large princess wrote, while also to loud queen think. Penetrate even Aha's Umoroki not tied how about a long-time pledge to the cord of the tears of the ball. Issued wrote the returns in. Encounter is what Zuba but if over twisted the Kataito beyond Kanata is what does not in the cord of the ball Zuba. And Kaoru is the Charlestown. To not be able to say that of themselves from the front. To not be put into the mouth by the degree replaced with reveal sigh was because in many cases would be struck to feel too noble princess. So that of your adoption in the Hyobu lord of the temple started to say to fu enthusiastic. And often become worked your curiosity, rather than become I think you so deeply. And became mere application. In order to become treated coldly you only so come out a gas which is not defeated and whether or not there. I was also thinking, but looking at your situation in the various, is very much not only think that the love that became the beginning you in cordial. It why here just to foo. Such as right now you will become the treatment. Things of the judgment is not a little girl of about untimely to be your brainy one to hear you. Well for your opinion I have of you think. Does not please you to consult the other party forever the is. My not get okumi pure trust. I think the thing reproachful. Whether or not please saying just. Kaoru was serious. Only if measure are grateful to you for your kindness. You will find that I have said you're good friends for reading this as much as you do not have examples to the public until so. It's not a know your law and pure points are suspected of be there you. You said you not a girl, but has had become in fact such Yoru not about her herself. Has exhausted thinking if the ordinary person any and all that to must. Childish to anything, or particular things like now the story is also the time that became come alive temple. And if so Toka, if there is such a story because I did that you did not Ashara also in addition to the story as a future problem. Still the house like your heart is. We just in this state. In mind things like that happiness of marriage. Such is the direction of others because the thing that thinks so and must have become to you. Believe is spend a lifetime without placing There is the no way out of the words of propriety, also regard that of Hyobu, lord of the temple like. But my sister is young. I have thanked to Kokoro Guroshu from being allowed to decay in these sanin forever. Nothing was considered also as it should be without take the same road with me. But I will fancy things towards the other. Is it the kind of fate is on the road ahead? Quote, to say, was a pitiful it is to the Tansoku of things Omowashi likely a large princess. Rishiku clearly elders case in your marriage stories in. The young lady is not as supposed to be Ikiri. The pros and cons of the story of adoption. The sympathy was Kaoru calls the valve of an old woman of example in a different place. In the past, is what has been visited you a temple like as the guidance of Buddhism. Your began to become visible your Koko Robosoku, made before dying. Left my good offices that the future of our two-way I'll say. There is like that, but is not the will become a sported hope of the house like the princess you think. Because you are ignored the respect and passion to dedicate as much as possible. Something apart from the target I like say even a doubt has been going on in my mind that if there's not a person is also bossa with, you will so come also heard that you have said in public. I from unusual CEO is what had been abandoned at all think like that trying to get married is to Ningen Nami. It will such thing called fate. Supposed to be attracted your mind this princess. The other public rumor is now because it is inner on to also think would have amounted to. For I want to produce a result that also served to if the house like your bequest to be able to. Although it may as either be selfish. I think a good thing is not the criticized by anyone. It's that example of. And Kaoru continued to talk. Also of Hyobu lord of the temple like. What I say I would recommend to more than that is make your consent with peace of mind. Nada the Natsa. There is another you want each to the queen of your two ways. I think you want to hear well even from you. Hey, I wonder there is what you want. Quote, both. It was to say in the things Omowashi likely. If the wife is not good at a time like this, or criticize the princess play, but is intended to try or trying to favor its own position. The valve was not in such a woman. But in my mind is that this edge on top of the two people of the queen is thought is that it would be no matter how good if established, respectively. Because they're the your personality like that was little changed from the beginning. Why? You will find those that Nasaru such as you think to why the subject towards the other one. Even if my name is at that time also became come the temple like. Such as wife since it was not a no reliable place of a prince who. People who do not joy from you at the expense of myself is. I have been there then smitten taking your spare time to make a significant destination in niche. Old variety even people with dear edge also cut, enchanting master-slave to the cut in the relationship, is we have to see that it will go out as well, so everyone is show sealed, not become a hate that remain even for a while and much less. And also the people in the princess play. In the temple like yours I say but would have sported also withhold and or hurt the noble of the house by your opponent. Became will you divert your lonely you to what I should I wish I nasu in any marriage. People say that my backen is do I sported contempt rather that's human. Not no monono. Why can become come in just something like this. Of pine even bow like us that the line to eat the leaves. And the like from theirs it will open a good faction convenient to do live. I said this kind of unpleasant things. Young princess play up, but your mind is now tormented we will trying to be selfish mediated person. The queen does not have in the way such that your movement in such a fuhaku words other. Only to the decent well-being your sister like want to let obtained and there seems to become your thoughts. Such a road not your scarecrows also bossa for your visit to the very place of your like your favor. There also be well Irash Aru become you can see over the years you two. Just deliberately is now you like warm your because they're not come to the original asylum large princesses located Luo week you started to do so Mara and if you like your desire in Your letter from Lord of the Temple like Hyobu is you become your we all the time. It is therein so that it is not. He also recognizes that it is suitor with sincerity. Quote, the valve is only tried to convey the will of the princess. I was accepted at Dai to learn your testament of the temple like. Because of you think that there is a duty to tell the care of here as long as you are alive. But it's not good even if married purchase decisions forgive anyone at both the queen. The same like that. Yet that princess was pleased you sending me to the middle princesses is that I'm happy. Somehow taste the feeling I have to be attracted the world to a single deeply you want to throw away. Also until after death from people this thought I Nikoro. I do not of those that can be transferred to the love towards the other. A new mind is that unreasonable even if the original so the I want to place in the establishment of the love of the public par there is not. But even while separated something fu, such as of now, only want you to have it forever to the other party to talk not only to everything. Lonely without some people, such as could be in such a relationship with such a sister to me you. That shim only of life as well. Funny thing, sometimes troubled, but when the time just is not enough to only have felt in one of them that Nakamaya is too high to your identity. Narinara Shiku might not I would like anything and everything that of his think. Also Sanjo of the temple like if there is a person of youthful feelings which is not also think that the mother, the child if there is a minute of the child. Not that say any talk no snow is in. Other things that women are all to me is not considered only and are in far distant place. I remember always loneliness of feeling. I lonely for you. One sporting as long as the fly but it was related to romance and dazzling mind. I have become unsightly stubborn man from the perspective of people. For those who think much less deeply miss is also likely to be difficult to talk about it. I thought you're a meshiku or, if you can not to inform also agony of love that is dari sad. Cracking while unusual birth is hated. Hyobu then I also of the Lord's house to each other receive your leave I think would not be anxiety. Make thing that looks good I chisel. Kaoru such a thing was saying. Old valve also but there is no two edges above had just wished to cut the so satisfied princess up. This discouraging about her herself. The two, queen both to the nature of grace and height. Of the things that I think of itself all has not been said. Kaoru lived from the heart you want to have a peaceful talk and the princess was to stay tonight. Looked at what then without Yamakawa the day. This person's attitude is unclear. The state of the recently say things rather than better is grudge put in something. Princess, which began to remember the hassle as if to talk intimately was finally painful is. In other respects an exceptionally a rare sincerity because there was a Kaoru to show for this. Family, Frosty and his cannot handle, was of the consent to the opponent of the story is also that night. Let open the door between the altar room and rooms. Is in before the Buddha of more of the backlit brighter light. The partition of the next princess had come out along with a folding screen to miss. Although the light of the platform is also the seat of the customers was carried. Because we are rude dressed have a little tired. And say. Kaoru had laid himself to put a stop to it, such as sweets had been provided for in place of the evening guests can dine-in servant as had been put out, is the people in the room, such as strikes in the parlor of the corridor have been collected. Keep quiet as here, guests had pulled the story with the queen, the heart queen to say what the fu is along the nostalgic charm and while there is no state in which informal stand hurry to last Miss Kaoru was feeling himself. And if this does not of even Orikashiku is no example no Kokoro Jaku is close to the lover is. Showing they're regarded as the over-difficult obstacles to those not anything. Although I think in the suicide such a thing. The ignorant seal made by. About what was in the world. Talking about the shim to the body and was chewing a gun. It also continued to speak in various ways to be heard interesting. The queen as the had been ordered to have without leaving the place close to the wives. But from the heart I think that there is a place that is not timed. Are you try and proceed if the negotiations are tonight's guests. Try to protect the princess in Somerset. Izu and R have receded into the distance. There was no person who goes out to the Buddha of light also flown. The princess does not seem to have called softly wife and the terrible feeling. But come out anyone, because you troubled gone what mood is best regards. And I rest a little. Let's also happy to talk to the dawn side. And it is how to be now enter to the back looked to the princess. Who came to, far away Yamaji is you annoying the body to you more. It can have you heard the story. Though we have this in the goose and to the joy of also hear it, is to put your my only it is not a lonely. Taken come to there either. Quote. Kaoru caused entry slip the body open and press the folding screen to hear of the chamber says. Horribly enough had let go only the other half to the other side of the room. Pulling stop was to a very sorry Kaoru. Fool Mosu such a thing is because I do not separated. It is not in that bizarre or that emit the words of the condemned were finally accounted remember attracted to Kaoru. To you that you feel that not separated cannot see even a little. Because I will Itadako well understood. To be a bizarre is. I do not have to become to think you and also rude. In your Buddha I any parole will stand. Never because you, from the beginning and my come out in such break your feelings active I am. It will never be your fear. I was so honest quiet that you are in Osojo I would not imagine anyone. But I spent the night satisfied with just this. Quote. Saying. Kaoru is seen face while Yari paid by hand black hair that was nearing spill of princess in the light of the more such lights good feeling. Was Suya Urara as I had imagined. To what strict interference nor this mountain cottage. If a man without suppressing the will of the self such as he has intrusion. Without even going to put in this state. Easily the wife of such a person where this person is to be completely made there was. But was Kaoru has also become a bother to criticize themselves whether did not try to hurry the why. Get married without it with anxiety until now. The queen crying Nasakino once without unspeakable or pretty. No more I cannot do anything of the act. Not a way of approach of these fu. I think that Chino date of the will there is also a day to be forgiven naturally. Without the attempt to obtain the love with a force of men. The beginning of the heart is hidden as coax very well partner it was. Such a mind does not know that those who are causing you suddenly had been the intimate for reading this until now only average. I may leave and would look like it to reveal the figure of mourning compassion lack of your mind it was mashy more descriptive. Also it will be sad I think also of such help of my resistance. Quote. To say the resentment in princess has to be seen in the flicker of light itself of morning appearance was anything not of ready to be seen by others was crying and who think very embarrassed bad. The so also in your sadness. I have been ashamed of this because I do not like you. You do not have tried ahead of anything your comfort. The will let rebuke me with the fact that if you started to call the morning is your most. If the wait I thought me the length of the years since the now say adores for your as it began now, I think I would not necessarily may not be involved in it. You or my it became hearsay as a reason to be rejected from approaching is. Rather does not show only results in a retrospective of the passion that has continued to between my long. Kaoru says that, at the time it was Tsukimi followed by the Ariake month of the night that had been ensemble of that lute and harp on it. And then as a result of became to those irresistible of mismind in case a variety of later it was said in many words, whether it had made the surface merely to calm, while listening to the princess. Do that remember the shame which is not being bare that of the old days of the fall of dawn and whether there has been such a mind over the years is hidden underneath it was to also feel that Shimiru to where Kaoru made a separated with more of Buddha in the short kicho that was next to it. Had been sleeping if snuggled up to the next. Nakao was high smell, because was where the incense of Shikimiku are also full of the chamber. unclean thoughts for deep Kaoru of investigator's heart than anyone I want you to have to reveal. Without any order. Also lover of morning appearance of dyed black later able to make remain a force will be seen as superficial man heard to the world. Because it will become that trample on this love to their supremacy. They will wait for the lapse of a period of mourning. Then addition and when in the form fluttering toward the even my little mind of this man. Tried to moderate the mind by force. 1. In that the fall of the night. Though this is a mountain of things, a lot of things, the shim to the body and not a house. Also much less peak of the storm. Here are voices incessantly of insects rather than in the garden that makes remember the Kokoroboso, of which was full of words of princess say in answer. Sometimes Kaoru words speak to the topic of the transience of life. Was as good of everyone beautiful feeling. Wife who had early sleeping good. Everyone drew a bad imagination from this speech was gone toward the room. Servants have also queen remembered that became a put you to say the chichimia and one in which. Hard to believe. Woman also man also contempt their own. Et al. Such is already another tonight if there is no protection of the parents' sadness and are they not? They're in the eye. It was flowing a lot of tears along with the Kawan of Uji. And it became at dawn. Kaoru serving as another okidashi, making the sound of making cough that seems to encourage a return to his master. They hear the voice of the neigh of a number of horses. Kaoru then I think in the morning of Ryoshuku you are listening to people talk about Shingna. Remembered. Kaoru opened the Fusumako the better of I saw come pointing the lights. Tried to Nagameo with two people the sky of autumn the shim to the body. Queen also came out a little have at you. Since the eaves was also the home of narrow mountain cottage making. It goes glowing gradually many dew of the leaves of grass that endure. It is going in shalong in accordance with it even in the chamber. Both of them were men and women of the gloss of appearance. And each other have the friendship of the same extent. While something like this forever comforted a month flower. I'd like to send an ephemeral life. Kaoru is not her to whisper such a thing to Fu old. The queen was to also feel that was finally omitted from fear. Rather than seeing you in the so outright, that you could each other to talk at a something. I'm available to you in the heart unless leave such little more separated. The woman said, outside is completely brighter. Also near the buzz to go kinds of river base of birds fly awake. The sound of the dawn of the bell has been sounded faintly. And the queen was Fu think painful tore out to even Koshite revealing place in this time a woman is embarrassing thing. I do not go out as early in the morning as the successful people of love. Rather also others some you think would be the extra imagination from such a thing. Normally give us your treats me as usual just so far the ill I can say. And I think you in a couple of different of the contents as the world. Please keep forgive the future approach of this degree. If you is not the imitation is never a man like losing Ray please have faith in me. This unprecedented still of sympathy to the man to be protect of this love with concessions to what you do not become Urameshiku. Have to say these things. Kaoru is still not try to go out immediately. It's not the princess that it be very unsightly. Let's I also do as it has become in the future now say you are you. This morning does not please take a listen you what I mosu. Say, really I can see as being tormented by heart. I also of you are suffering. I do not yet experience thing called the morning of farewell. I feel that the head on the way back path as the old song ends up with the defense. When Kaoru has leaked the Tansoku again and again. Chicken, there is also a far voice as more of either. But the crowed again and again. I feel like the Kyoto was suddenly to Kaoru. A Sabare Kana upcoming Toriatsu made a pathetic known Ruru Koa of the mountain village. Princess is the answer to it. That the Shiomoi the mountain. Not hear the sound of the bird world rainy season carry to come my Tajuru. And he said, send it went to the mouth of Fusumako in the living room of the princess. And Kaoru out of the doorway. which was said last night that during the time of poured the guest room has been lying not as well sleep is obtained, to miss the people that came apart. It was the innate and also should not be taken now to uncomplaining attitude if so much seems. Does not even bother to go to Kyoto. Princess is embarrassed that I think people are a kind of imagination. It could not be immediately be attached to the pillow. Various thoughts framed to the chest of the queen. Several reviews of the marriage proposal that comes in Toratsui of wife such as exploit Kokoro Boso of the parent with no daughter. When the young people were promoted that there is no one step caring now. Yourself and will happens. It is not in the mind. People when the will of fate that have become my wife is waiting for him. Come to suit also considered a variety. Kaoru is not a place which is not trivial. Pirate is a good person. And if there also is the hope in the other party Chichimia, it was to have become in the sometimes year leaked such a thing. But his will still Toso in single, younger than myself, have a beauty of prime, rather than to look good in the circumstances. Giving up the Kaoru to you in that looks tragic. Be a decent marriage will be glad if possible. If not that of their own could be for you and to get married to take care of as long as the reach of the force. Will Koreo work anyone then ere she married such a role? Parent no. Not even my sister. If now a little mediocre man is Kaoru, in order to reward against his continue to have long favor, unexpected might feel happen to be his wife. But that person is not the case. It is too good man. Or not there is also a full dignity inaccessible high. Yourself to the unexpected must have seemed to the suits not. One person remains lonely fate of his before yourself now no matter the degree of after the body was crying until the morning continue to think is without regards. Was lying enter toward the book stand sleeping in the middle princess of the back. While last night I'm doubtful you to the speech until the late change to the normal. Because you were a fell asleep in. And glad that came in way of large princess. I tried the nightclothes to the top of the sister at the time. I was aware of the stand to take high Nioigaku Lily. We got samurai of that night duty is the clothes, which together would be the smell of Kaoru was completely troubled. Asari and will was also things like that sister Kun lose the passion and power of man. Then also well I did not say anything as went to sleep. Kaoru calls and I went to see the valve or an old woman from in the morning. Go telling bits and pieces to also the feelings of its own that story yesterday. And as to the princess went back to put means a courtesy greeting. As had been or gift a song in the wedge of the words the total angular yesterday. Were the mistakes such as fathoms only separated by carry to tear etc. Or from Ahi sleeping, if Saibara song ended up with that person it embarrassed and would also think. Sister. Mood large princess in the fact that the poor had all the way without leaving the floor. Wife says. I until another your Buddhist memorial service on the day was no longer even much. I am your disease I had difficulty a princess when there is no person who can also hakabaka shiku is. That in addition to small. I had to say and the like. Grade from uniform can all you came in. Decoration of the bunch I do not know what may be how to me. To hear the appealin'. By diverting to had become darker around any more at that time. Princess was such as to create a string tied together happening. When I came of the letter from the source Chuinagon, because we have had the body from this morning, and let's say to the agency, they did not issue a reply. There was also a woman who reproached that it is too bitter attitude. It is attached to the removal clothes past the period of mourning. Moment but also did not think a life to survive after the Fukin is. Whether have been over the month and day to this. Counting this even in the Hakume too it was also sorry crying of the queen of the people. 1 year also has changed and thin dark, gray of the black of beauty who clothes wore seemed to gloss. As I thought of my sister Kun, you're what looked like a figure of the beautiful blue min. Also seems also to as strikingly standing masa during the morning. Large princess to your appearance in was like to wash their hair was the antelope. Such is the feel forget just everyone also sadness of life is looked to. The princess and feel is I think all. With joy Tanabashiku the my their home is letting remember disillusioned with yo people to get married. Important is the sister kun no parents to parental love is in addition to its own it was a sister queen that Kaoru thought when was also another takeoff lover of mourning that some of the refrain has been. There was in September a verse of people as sinister as at the beginning of the marriage. When in addition to Uji hard unexpected wait, this woman of the agency wanted to discuss as far. It was coming to convey the meaning of Kaoru. Because when you are suffering in ear disease from carelessness. Large princess did not try to meet let's say the only answer like that. The zongai at you is lacking in kindness. We'll be wives are looking at what me. Referring now as Kaoru was Taurus wrote in the statement. And continued much sorrow when we take off the mourning of my father. And you because I is that sunk in the rather now more deep darkness. Unexpected not be able to hear a story. Reply was issued wrote. Kaoru to the feel there is no way. Call the valve as in the example. Consulting with you Karo the power of this person. Wives with a lonely this are in the mountain villa in Source Chuinagon only believe the only patron. Rely mind. Heard the story from the valve. And is not reasonable that it to establish the marriage all say together. No matter how he had decided the arrangements trying to lead the Kaoru to the bedroom of the princess also. May princesses' wives does not know deeply as whether you are planning anything. Because it is Kaoru that Natsuki to the valve to a special person. And the idea which is not able to alertness as their own unexpected. Even such as the princess in the old days of the novel. Is the less from being the negligence of love from own will. The other wife and the quality is also different. The valve should work as self-interest of the valve because there is a place I think by somehow unusual for the heir in the today's house. Kaoru is correct when you came closer to try to give the sister to my place. Where we're inferior to those for the purpose. Thus more tied the edge is not Kaoru of personality. Such as discarding the thoughtless because of, much less subtle to anyone or not the sister deserves to feel a great deal of comfort if you look at the face. Even if taken out as a story is such a thing. There is no person to show before the eyes to change the purpose. Fell from this period while some let's say do. Because there is no fu exceed to say. Such as different at the beginning of the G. To avoid that was saying until now against himself. Reminiscent of the one where those so shallow root Maya only did. Was the princess to determine the travel ideas. Whether my do its good offices not leave let me know to you in a little bit that matter there is. That make the sins of Buddhism. Of Senia intrusion becomes poor queen sister from experience that suffered in person. In continuation of the other story. Your words of your father that passed away, your, even in such a lonely life, as unexpected must go to continue it. The fuhaku of love, leave a movement of emotion, that the do not become public laughing stock I was. Because of hard just the crime that has been your interfere to become enter your to the faith life. Of the life your father. And do not want rebelled against your admonition of the end at least I thought. Such as discouraging from being single and how can I do not think. Al-Shish is of looking bad to say like a strong woman of care recklessly until wives. Well is good to have appeared in so unusual man. My date that lives with you or not then would waste your youth. You and should not been considered all the time regrettable. The nay pity the poor. So you just are usually if a woman married to feel and want to be as I am also comforted by looking at your happiness. Quote, and say, Sister Kun no matter what idea you were sounding in suddenly miserable and was probably out to say such a thing. Will was your admonition became leaving you to only your per person. Especially disturbing to your father the better of me not you as intelligent of whether your words. Of the obo shimeshi I think. Kokoroboso of thee. In this way there will be something in addition to comfort, just always that you are with us. Quote, Princess looked sorry and seemed to sense to say of you in the fu want a little Urameshi. No, if say wives says that it is a woman too stubborn me at all, because seems to be I think. I also thought it the lot of the other way. After it did not say more, only something like this. They go after dark, but do not try to go home today's customer. The princess was thought to be the bee in trouble. From convey the words of Kaoru came Val, with respect to say with all the words and the curse of that person is a reason. The answer is also no. Princess which has a tansoku will how of yourself can be, if even to come chichimiya. Case for many to become, whether to become anyone's wife, is treated as a daughter. Come to a life where there is a thing called fate, of people without a own will, it would also be the wife. Even if a marriage is unhappy, and because it is good, who was elected to the parent, will need to not think this so ashamed. Everyone year's wife who are around have taken, but only adoption of the man with a Genji face that was asked of himself come to recommend ask him to the top of it. Such a thing is intends why very well. Can't of see the world is narrow. Princess that I cannot believe the judgment. It is also, it's not that the movement of the heart not heard more and be nasty to say in the Senbikarda. People trying to move off at the power. Because was as not more interest than the princess for the queen's sister to discuss any that it or something such marriage toka love. Even if the story of these days feel the pressure is intrusive and so deeply painful feelings come because there was as no me. Princess did not tan rather well in one person. In the back of the queen towards the back of the room or sitting facing the other side have to say, is the toga wife, at all. As to your suitcase of the princess to other omeshimono not a thin blunt. But everyone is satisfied married and tonight and so on. That the appears to the sneak and it's prepared. Princess was wondering squalidly, if everyone is fit the mind. It is not even a place that is hidden within the narrow mountain cottage. Kaoru Izu something like this hope that anyone make a fuss. From going to the establishment of love without also be started from the time without interposing. Such a person be then we wanted from a previous. Tilts the heart of the princesses to their own but well never is to think also maybe a relationship of this state, I think is the valve of an old woman is unexpected caught only itself. In order to obtain the assistance to other women, revealed to everyone to ladders it than it became. Even if there is a place that is more or less sophisticated. Unexpected only as originally shallow woman valve, will be due to the action of the head put on it has become dull. Princess that I thought uncomfortable is, when you come out of the valve, all died re to become was the temple like as well. Unusual to pity now come just glad all the time and I who'd like to let us know. We know addition to sugary all your kindness to contact anything now become in. But we have for your relationship with a friendly contact, such as there is no example. Had surprising you want is mixed. You like become your resentment. I will be manage and disappointment. Gorgeous happiness as a human being if you have there is only hope and want to get. You like never your transgressions. Such as is a toss in your favor. But, because I think it is a woman, not have the obsession to be from the old days of this world. Can you please say your there is no become precocious only to only just painful. I think with it is given there by the sister. Fame from being allowed past the youth to the person you think cannot be concealed as me. This Sanso life also, because you likes a status quo that is Ika in succession with only courtesy of. If you have your aspirations you please to your memorial father. Please I love you instead of me sister. Himself as a body, mind everyone there is going to go given for the sister. This means more you do I would like to fuin. And, way better princess while ashamed said. Ben thought Gataku sympathy, because you such obo shimashi's like is there one that is also found in me. I folded the bone, but I say and as you do so, it cannot just move your mind to other. Medium princess that he is to be held also your resentment of the temple like Hyobuser if the marriage. There also narrated is there of your adoption is subject and you say and I'm going to say take care enough of. In the middle princess. It also cancelled. It should be noted that since there is the story with your two-way is now such a good match in deals. Your fine is unparalleled in the world when a wife play that young nobleman like ye. Important in sports with a rare your sincerity lets there with you what? It is rude words. But when we have I see that the sports something like this insufficient your life. And what happens to your well? We are anxious. You will be sad or you on the other hand like your mood for but still there is not I know. Also reported comes a person of the highest your identity anyway. The Byobo Shimeshi want to be your last will and testament as expected the temple like but are you the most? It is weather suit scolded unexpected human unexpected Myra appeared as a suitor. By now set sporting worry the case. There is your heart to be married you either queen to Chunagon like Nara. And will be. No matter how nice to be able to rest assured that in the one person of the nepotism of the one of the queen now. Seasons in therein is the fact that sported talk to us. Even if you're of any precious your identification parents is it in after that became your Shinoa care. I think even if it thereby becoming the unexpected clog unexpected people and couples who depend. I've example to a lot to even look at the kind of result that it becomes is it. It's no way to. Nobody I do not do over the rumors. Let alone or let my name is such an ideal. A person who has become a matchingist of everything fictional. And deep is your love. By the person who is to come once cordial your marriage though you will have you. By force and now chilly to contact treat it. And my name is because it is your will. Even if I may leave things like become enter your tabuda of the road. Clouds and haze as hermit would you like there is can be to live either. And I think that I hate the old woman to keep saying the eloquence also. Princess was crying become Utsubushi. You also divided had looked I sorry the state of the sister kun while unexpected no in. And went to the bedroom as always the night together. The Kaoru is tonight you are staying in a guest princess is a disturbing and I think. But there was a being thinking of taking what kind of treatment. There is no place as he muffled especially Shimeki, the four sides of the door since it is of a mountain cottage. The only beautiful night glows of soft geological on top of you in. Since it is not even in the Jiko that has also gone completely still heat. I went to sleep a little himself away. The valve told Kaoru that said the princess. Why would so much think marriage is just itoishiku? And whether the account scolded the influence of Chichimiya became there you like the saint monk. The heart that is realized deeply the impermanence of life. In your own inner the Kaoru also meet Azaru a common thing. It feels bad does not appear. It is also looks became made you feel that you do not want to tonight each other to talk with other things over. Please go let gently me to your bedroom because I only tonight is the last of it. And Chunagon said, old woman in an attempt carried well the trust thing. The other wives would let me sleep all early. Had been waiting for the coming of the time without guard down with people who are informed of the plan. Rough wind blows simple shidomido such as the wife discovered that the Mai becomes a place where notice of the like sound that undeniably have people creeping to build the acutely to break. Likely sound princesses I think. Quietly let Kaoru and I went. Although I thought the point of sleeping in the same book table of two people of the queen anxious. Because this was a nightly habit. It is the only in the one person to another room was unable to say from the beginning to the princess tonight, and which is one of the two people because it should have been found the Kaoru valve was wondering. When the princess that cannot be sleeping and thought that came to hear of this faint footsteps. Leaving the book stand quietly happening. It was to have been very quickly performed. When I think of you and that had entered well, sleep innocently. Chest becomes what that would be their own to try to be cruel, but once hesitated also what to hide together wake. Well I think without it can be done. Looking at the better of Toburidai well examply, while bathed in the light of the faint light. A new cheeky appearance. or else come as that a familiar place. Kaoru by pulling up on the valance of the book I walked in. A very poor sister, while sadness and would be to feel what his sister woke up to. Princess entered back that had been erected the screens a little along the surface of the wall. But even when I tried to say is an abstract story, because it is the person who told Fu reproachful their own ideas. His own, which was much less attempted. Such a thing seems that it is unsympathetic sister. That is Nakuku even think if you arrow. Be attached to continue to think. Unfortunate that do not have a person of relatives that nobody would ask is thought that it would cause to the grief. When it becomes to come to that end of the mountain to Matera. Uchichimiya send-off was to have been considered as now. Was a princess that I think Miss Fukin until the unexpected is answered. Kaoru know that was sleeping in the Toburidai was one thing. This is pleased to see and that had been attempted of the valve. The heart is coming was of the was to Tokime. Not of which the person it was found. Similar is the stomach. Beautiful and lovely point looked as if this person is Masa. Look at the surprised face. This to people was pathetic that seems to Wolf was in not knowing anything. Also because it was miserable Urameshika, also lover had hidden come to think. Which is also of other while hard to love remember I to the people. I do not want to perform it is to be a failure Yuku is still more a first love. So do not readily want to seem to that person in whether was a love that can change the partner. If the fate of things should be so this person. And it would be things that at that time. I also the beginning if at that time Kaoru made of the separation that will be able to love this person and who unlike the lover instinctively to the same only. In the beautifully nostalgic story the first time. As in the example. Just was Kateria Kashi just by looking at a lovely person and partner. OL wife is thought that it has failed to state of the book stand only of the just of speech. And since one person heard a sound that seems to have walked out straight, or will became come to where are you in? Divided I had a variety of imagination and no unexpected it is of. I guess there is that which does not depend also something I think even. Both had to say, when we be seeing your face, extends also to wrinkle here of the face. Rejuvenation even be able to think such a fine control. Will become refraining from Chunagon like in their appearance why to I think. This is the magic referred to in the world is Pengai to the princess. Quote, woman who drop outs of teeth this to say also in a muaikyo look. What is the magic? Well unpleasant, because we were made to come is placed in such a thing to why made to come tired. Just too human a way of the environment. Things like that a couple of wrote also skillfully neither person all explain. You become gentleman is mashoni horribly you will and so come closer. Once in zip to them familiar. You can also become a love you. Quote, at length it will feel all good there is also those who say such a thing. Had somehow convenience if you go well I and say nobody asleep. There was also bad manners woman exported even snoring. Although not had been women have become relationship, such as singing of the deceased and I felt that dawn early even fall of night for lovers. And I feel the night was open too soon. Kaoru is also one of the queen inferior unexpected Yen Li of the facilities was unexpected trivial. Tired from the go farewell while still just a placid story and one person feels comfortable was the even was. Please love me you too. Do not become a ruthless queens to your apprentice. Such as, I went once again out to imply that the will of the opportunity. And it took a bland action, not only in spite of the fact of their own, but feel like a dream even Kaoru then is to. Still on that ascertain the heartless people of the true mood again. To move on to the next problem if it is. Was lying in the room of the examples came back while soothing the unsatisfactory mind. Valve to come to the place of the book table. I do not take your looks, medium princess let there then so come in either. Listening to say, going to the affairs of a sudden things. Whether the last night of several hours from the shame that was with a man nor a parent brother. But you have stomach silently in. What circumstances led to that settlement, and was thinking of the will try and the think your Meshi-kun and try to remember that it was told yesterday was my sister-kun. Cricket in the one of the wall now came out and invited to the dawn of light. Is not to say things to each other as sorry and would have thought of Kimi-in. It is a terrible destination. Also to be what it is correct later from now. Princess medium whether unexpected of can be a world of believing even the sister I had thought. Writhing blankly from the valve went to the room. Kaoru. Princess is the story you've hidden at a scapegoat to Nia also ruthless. Such a nobody refused strong. Such as sparing the sympathy so to surprise whether it is the princess was it had become. Cold you handle up to, now. But still there is a thing that does not give up hope in me. Me in it. But there was also a place that is comfort. And has become really embarrassed today that today, even only to the Uji River I now feel like throwing. When I think that at the expense of my kind of act was your sorry Mr. Queen became a place you throw to your bed of and so on maybe. I'll die now you also feel that does not have to be. That such would like to become a wife in either of the queens I decided to not want anymore by. Forcibly is the wife of the middle princess to be left with a lifetime grudge because you will. Because those who so come in response to the application from the venerable Hyobu lord of the temple like. Because there will also be the come decide to this by yourself I know. Closer to that person it does not appear they are about to go. I was placed in this embarrassing position is. You are also to see you your queen you wreck his hesitation. Keep ask you to you. But not stupid love please have at least silently so that it is not known even to the wives only my story was. After you have this told a grudge. Early Kaoru then Hirao got back. Valve and made a sorry results for Chunagon also for the middle princess was each other whispering. With people of the last night of the fellow. Since large princess also circumstances were not well understood. Whether mither than Kaoru to the queen's sister did not remember the deep love. Was troubled chest about what was home early. My sister was also pathetic. I thought with each other to attributed to it was wrong of the work of all of wives. Various large princess came a letter from the source Chunagon when you are the agony. Then Hirao also that this use was Ken's happy was strange. Blue as kata ada so as not to feel the autumn. In the branches of autumn leaves mid which turned red and yellow dark. Either to the dyed Karo Yamahime came the same branch minute deep color and question Hibaya. Without saying that many wanted Urameshi about there. Briefly was in this song is to see that the contents of the letter. Love is neither is certainly. Just because it is the heart that would farewell cover only something like this when the princess. By I think it would be have felt the pain. Everyone to hear the prompt and early reply. Today and from you also ashamed to say to you in. Also write to your own it had omo imader nakuku. Shimaru heart of Yamahime is domo ne young Atsura fukatai a deep made orchid. The beauty of the character of the princess of the total angular that is written without also touching on the fact. Still I had thought that Kaoru would not be able to buy the farm forget this man. Tofu recommend the Yuan because a sister, such as their own half of the body is of was shown frequently. There is no difference to those aiming for that I do not follow it. Become now that the struggle to waste Tae. Only wish from the beginning if the guise of indifference from Urameshi if will finally become realized flame. Even the old woman was allowed to stand until now and would be to lose sight of the depth of his love. The result is that it was floating love is regrettable. Himself as the one person case anything are they not become only the beginning. Which was to be attracted by the mind is mortifying. Just be inconsistent with a spirit that hopes to throw away the ephemeral world even this much as that seems embarrassed even. Iwania as in the world of flirt was revealed think is that it is not possible that begin to also love the sister of his girlfriend. Kaoru to the next morning of the Ariake moonlit night wasm down to the palace of the temple of the Lord Hyobu. Since Sanjo the temple was in the living comes with Hahamaya from burn in a fire Kaoru to Roku join, to also to the place of Hyobu lord of the temple so come the same hospital as to ask all the time. Mia also lived come this person is close. Became come to the satisfaction in that which can come and go in the morning and evening. Orderly your residence is also appearance fluttering of the plants of the vestibule. Also bloom flower unlike elsewhere. The month to put a shadow on the flow also look like a painting. Temple as Kaoru imagined became come any more happened. This special person to smell coming carrying the wind is your impression. The house became our surprise. Immediately call the repair. It has become come out to correct the figure to the edge. When Kaoru sit in the place which is not fit up the floor. The temple were to become pulled you talk more over to be also not you say to himself also leaning on the railing. Will also you started to say that of Uji in one of the small talk. But from which you grudge the lack of enthusiasm as a mediator of Kaoru. Is impossible. Kaoru thought to the things which cannot even achieve their love there. To know to become visible you into the temple of Fu that I want to see the lover went to Uji. Detail Sanzo circumstances then hero. Is like Kaoru that of the queen's sister was my name talk. Da also becomes a little darker time before dawn. Fog standing. Looks chilly sky color. The moon began to be blocked by the fog of even dark glossy flare under the tree falling. Kaoru also Uji became miss for that. Mia's. Please invite Sherwin the next time you go. Do not be carried out Uchiha. And even if you say now, it is to look at you to Kaoru junk likely. While preventing Amina Eshi avoid Ono Kokuro's finding the Bakuya Shimfran. You say has become, like the joke with. View each person to see preface to Fog Deep Tomorrow of the original of Amina Eshi Heart. Because I do not seen anyone, quote, said that such Kaoru also. I say the annoying thing. Angry was a temple like to become a show you as well. While this hope has often had to ask the temple from until now. Without knowing well the Yuan. Because I was Kaoru, not dating. If there is anxiety of appearances as you can imagine also. Is feared whether will the become you feel the thing insufficient approaches such as NCEO. I did not I would like to listen you. I thought was also close to that person. Regardless. Is Kaoru was also heartily wiped anxiety now. But there is also is that it is not compassionate to ignore the feelings of a large princess tried to bother to scapegoat the aim. The if so from easily love does not appear to those that can be amended mind. First, that person is trying to leave it to the house. And a woman of resentment also know that even you decided I think this and want to be. Not even accepted resentment of the house not to be a good contact as is precludes it was funny. Because you will have here the amorous habits. Because you will be considered to just be a pensive after all. Kaoru showed the woman your guardianships this say. Well look chef because I have it still was no opponent that has been attracted by the so mind. Palace be gone serious way. Because still the queen play is what your customer's mind is not likely to welcome the son-in-law. Kun. And my role is there then take pains to say that. Kaoru had I would like bits and pieces to please note that from the go to guide you to Sanso. Since 26 days equinoctial week of the end of the day had become a lucky day of the marriage. Kaoru was variously assembled the idea, whose eyes good offices unexpected way alone stick to. She accompanied you Hyobu lord of the house to Ujite went out. Your mother is entered in the ears of Nakamaya. Such as your traveling incognito of this love becomes one year severe. Because I was supposed untimely your toe too. Although I think the will be my position is troubled. Because was to become switching to contact the desired Neoimia. It was painful even to deal with all of them in secret. Since it also, such as passing ship was cumbersome to keep to your rest to the opposite bank of the appropriate location. And drop off your time being the temple to the people of the house in its own manner close to the mountain villa. The queen who only owned I went to the mountain cottage. Me as people without any such might Maru where became to come. But only one of the samurai to the night duty was only thing go out around seen from time to time. Was good offices of me not be putting on airs to it. Chunigan the wives of Sanso became to come had everyone nervous. Queen at all. That is not as he without feeling troubled. But the princess of the total angular is. He had thought that because it was allowed to recommend a person instead retreated again to the left. Since you are the obvious may not be yourself, are you subject to Kaoruin? Even though I think that it would be unnecessary to the surprise this time was from that night that seemed miserable. Sister Kun also does not trust as much as before. Was the ready, not a guard, by talking about what the agency has been dodged indefinitely. They were suffering wanted wife at all whether that will happen tonight. Kaoru is a Hyobu lord of the temple out the use after I say welcome to the mountain villa. Called the valve. We are still able to talk just another word in the princess. That it is I have found the other is not Kudasara in Toria at all to my love. So I shameful. To the place of the people of this period me a while later. Or not please go to guide in the manner of at that time. Quote, when the truth is Kaoru anti say. Either the valve because it is the same thing eventually decided to heart. And go to the place of large princess. And tell the following. That person is I thought of myself to sister happy and was transferred to a love. It is peace of mind. In terms of closed well Fusumako of the parlor close to the edge. Not become a Toramichi to go to the bedroom. Was G invited to Kaoru that would speak for a while to the other side. I would like to say just a word, but because also it seems that whether to issue aloud enough to be heard in person. You useless in this or not please open your little. Even this for is well understood. Princess is not depending on to say. Would that not to do it in the open-minded calm when a new mistress of trying to say is this person. Because of a relationship that was discussed is something like this from until now. In the as not to say too chilly to things. And I will shy mayo go away without let wipe the night. But this seat princess were gave. Kaoru was attracted captured the woman of the sleep from between the Fusumako. Told the resentment that accumulated in mind. Is that trouble? It is a regret and was probably why allowed to speak. But it's horribly even think. Skillfully from the heart to try to leave here. That because my sister is the same as their own. Implicitly saying mood and man thought pathetic. As Hyobu lord of the palace. Which teach our Kaoru. And will play you a fan by the doorway of that night. Led came valve. Well now that it would be a woman who was accustomed led to the way the Kaoru better of one of the queen now the temple is interesting you think. With becomes come in. Without knowing even became enter your to the bedroom. Large princess is you're in very well I was thinking that trying to go to Kaoru to the law. Funny also I think. Also are likely to feel sorry. And will be painful it's forever as you will mind not informing the fact Kaoru decided to confession. Since the temple like Hyobu sir did you desire and want to come together. But I would like your entrained could then you're otherwise specified. Now enter you to somewhere not on the noise as also was pressed. This can it might have become a well to contact deceived the cocky man. Will become both unsightly pathetic of not stick me. Quote. Here princesses because was quite surprising. And more also will not know to feel sorry thing. This person is Nakuku. Without an idea with you that sports that various bizarre. I said I say your credit you with childish mind. I to you as there then gave us the insult it looks ridiculous. Queen of the total angular is wanted extremely Kuchioshi. It was rough that should the other there is a time. If I did. No matter how become I think you're not enough even if I would like to reason. Please do anything even me with Chochaku. Anyo queen mind than I had towards the high identity. And if there is a thing called fate, it is because you cannot left or right in human power. In that the queens I had never as love you me. That your appearance is visible it was too bad. Embarrassed myself that cannot be loved as. In addition to retreat from that direction of your heart, I did not. It is not a good purchase. Decisions become my wife. I make to give up that there is no other way, or no matter how hard Fusumako even now to put your clothes is. Who that did not proceed to the more than dating mentally. My relationship with you is also my we. Imagine, of those who give to your guide your heart also. My I have become, you can see and reveal the night while the Koshite painful agony. Quote, says Kaoru, because was the is showing the excitement. Not could break even the Fusumako and, while you Tomashiku think, and the princess trying to say appease. The opponent of the story continued to, because thing invisible you thing that makes you fake to you to say. Are only tears just for the fact that you feel that closing the chest. When will people be made that? What you will find in sorted up, if you have remaining to legend is such a thing. The old days of the absurd. Will it appear in the same way as the muscle of the exaggeration of many novels? Why have seemed just as what has become figured out you do such a thing? To our sisters the courtesy of let it is considered why. I please do not torment you meet as so many. Also regrettable there is not life. If you find go if still going on. That can talk I also calm I think that it intends Garo. But if you have to ask that now, and now suddenly dark feelings, body you will also be painful. I will not please forgive me because you rest in here. Quote, although there is no desperate force voice, was told to make a rikutsu as. The gas seemed embarrassed to Kaoru. Also, the person is likely also to Karen. You, better to love me you are. No matter how senses that when I follow in your will is my desire. I was subjected to your eyes wherever obstinate until so unspeakable without any hateful unsympathetic human beings and I because of you I rasharu to look it. It is also not anything said by me that Mosu. Finally I feel, not must fumadasla out of life. Quote, also Kaoru has been leaked the Tensoku, saying, let's be happy to talk while placed in this separated. Please do not things like he does not the looking back at all. This also remove your hand from the sleeve while saying. Princess drew back himself, but was Kaoru think to not put away may go over their pathetic. Let's testimony tonight I think the comfort only that you are in this way next door. Never asked any more of it. And say, try to sleep here in the room and in the Fusumako. Here is a violent sanso sound of the river. Immediately wake up even if you close your eyes. The voice of the night the wind is strong. I feel like I'm most of copper pheasant that are separated by a ridge was painful too. Night as usual lice begin and Matera of the bell has been heard from the mountain. Kaoru cleared his throat to mind the Hyobu lord of the temple was made. Is that supposed to be the actual strange role? Guy Dishui Yao or lip pierced also unexpected floor heart should fuhuo with gray road. Such example is whether there will be to the public. Quote, Kaoru say in the window on the road, not have to do person to momoi the mind to live in people's place. Song to answer the princess to feign also. Unexpected here well in impatience and tired enough. Such as, is not very far away. It is you too without your sympathy. When I have told the resentment, Hyobu lord of the temple are prompted to dawn of heartwarming tonight became come out of the last night of the doorway. Incense stand in accordance with soft that your behavior gave color Neoemia became come to Kishime. Smoked deliberately prepared. OL wives is holding us suspicious to go back there from here with Kaoru. But thought that may have peace of mind if it also is measured of Chuinagon. Kyoto of people trying to suko between dark hasten the road. Return was a temple to become seems especially far away you. It is that the easy unexpected always go obo shimeshi from you from now. And probably because become appeared the yada separated night. New Temakura the Maki died Nakukara does spaced yanai do country of grass. Toe. Attached to the car by the time which is not out yet many people Roku join. Get off at the better of the corridor. Laughed looked at each other after it has come into so as to hide to show the car of a woman riding. Thank you in getting your faithful your service. Mia was this lord said a joke. Although stupidity and goodness of the people of itself is of being ridiculed themselves. Kaoru did not I would like nothing the last night of the settlement. Soon the house became Senju wrote a statement to Uji. Queen of Sanso had Omoe dare to feel like after both had a dream. While the various means and planning. Are you in a gas the first time also did not to show you in the beginning have a grudge against. Does not even try to Miyawase yo the queen and the eyes of his sister. Princess by itself unexpected can also speak clearly that it was a man of quite outsiders had. Watched you afar away feel sorry in. Wives also. Let there then there was that if you were towards the middle princess last night. And the like. But was to say is will investigate the facts implicitly from large princess. Because only there as your guardian in Fu was vague. Had all thought is that strange. Your letter of the temple also solved princesses and was to show to you of. The person does not even try to get up. I used to say that the stand of the time has come to the reminder. Omoe's Orkadu Deep Road bites Suru come divided original of even run of the mill. A great character that was written familiar. Princesses. But as deliberately today was a trace of gloss brushstrokes. Which are allowed to remember the plague of that depressing for it with the feeling that just was. Unlike when we were looking to watch. To be on behalf of the Rishiku guardian reply also seemed embarrassed. Was allowed to write to you in to say the variety. To elongate one territory of purple. Triple use that was out in fireman's standard head along with a skirt of raids in order which is not received by firmly refused. Passed to the people of the test wrapped into things. A special person as the use of the morning after the marriage temple rather than earlier than today. It was the so far auto, which has been the role of the sentence Tsukai to Uji. Since this is the deliberately was also known Mai in the temple of the good offices of the Who. When it becomes to hear that of Mitoyatama, somewhat uncomfortable that it would be the work of an old woman that showed Fu heard of that care. Now I think too, this night is also came to invite Kaoru, but did not respond to my name because there was a delivery boy. Not must Myra is always their own towards the Cold Spring Council. Tomo Shiribamiya came to think your way. Hateful and as a friend to show the composure that spoofing enlightenment in case unexpected must be so. The large Princess Kaoru Uji is because so come to believe that in the lover. There is no other way. Here the wished result and did not and the princess of the total angular from the heart weakened is. A son-in-law Kun cannot neglect to say I think. Is not such as goods of the ritual of decoration are also fully equipped no. But will wait for the second night of the temple was decorated showed the wind flow preferences. When it becomes to arrive view of the temple in a hurry a distant road was dwarf joy to the heart of the princess. It must be unexpected to happen even with these feelings to yourself. The bride of the queen is a cosmetic. Even while being not returned the clothes. Even wear on the tears of the bright colors of the sleeves. Looking at the going wet. Crying also sister Kun. Even I am no matter long to live in this world. Because it is people that it does not even try to omo to the fun. Just that you have hope every day. Yule I only was that I want to be happy. And wives nor is it the I because you say to up to noisy that's good match. Anything. To the people who, unlike us have a variety of experience for the year. Something that can be good judgment about these issues wax. I make a one of the will. Forever even if there be a two-person single woman began to think and my maid. Such as trying to disturb your mind with things like sudden now I guess was the even of you I did. Not think. But you know, this is no escaping what people say destiny a little and LL also suffering from my mind. The time that has been sunny little of your mood. I'll ask to hear and also defense of the things that were not related to that of now. Insidiously as in to grudge against me will be you make a sin. Quote. And whereas the princess said while mending the your herein, but you did not as anything Stonehenge in. Truly. Because it is sister Kun to say I love myself up to this. To the dangerous road my there are not tried Susumeo. Even though this is the case. and has given unexpected person of the wife as thinner than love. And be the also new pensive to the sister kun for yourself is sad. The future of the day that had tan I thought, let alone to which was a face even beautiful people of the night had been amazed surprised to intrusion person. Tonight is wearing beautiful clothes. The queen, which is subjected to cosmetic palace have a look, deepening of your love even more delicate be attached to go, that the separating medium is easy going hard long road. It is about to painful also oboshi meshi consisting of chest pain, but was to be the oath of future unchanged from sincerity. Princesses still I did not remember the seeping of their own love. It was not no, even though very important to Kashizuka the royal princess. What that world and now have a little more negotiation. If there was a heterosexual in and out the place of Toga parent Toga brothers. In this much also, such as shame it is likely that it will need without, although not life be revered in servants as far to the public because was a mountain village, is you in that are not accustomed to people. There is no seems more to be good people just embarrassing people, such as dwarf from the land Tay, etc. To say of myself I would only be hurt in the rustic. It was not possible to be able to be your Stonehenge to the little temple. However, speaking the Natu Queen is such a beautiful inspiration of the lady seems old as the often the better of this person. For wives say that night falls 3 days is intended to provide a bing to the new husband and wife. I think the princess or the of the total angular also be such a celebration. But wearer to make it in their own living room is selfish I did not know well. You also have to deal with that kind Rishiku elders. From the heart that hesitation whether to see people is what I thought. Face that blushed was very beautiful. Whether that Ineshin, having been the noble personality as O, was a princess also be gentle bits and pieces take care of something in the order of the queen's sister. From a source Chuinagon, tonight wreck, but I think you want will also help your chores. Because it is the place where we please lend us is to Koro on night duty of Senia. And we impair the little body. I still do not heal at all, not go out really unexpected, and accompanied by a letter that I wrote following the two of Danchi. Food and drink such tonight's celebration, and then also put while wrapped a variety of which it was not closed locations between which sewn. The box that was paid is divided into a number of kakako the Taurus is to have to place the valve. It was that for wives. Be the time when I was in your house of Hahamaya. Apparently things did not have between compile also remain I think. Usually also is near the bottom of silk and twill each other or laid packed in. It seems to have thought that the queen played of particular beautifully made ones the same. On the sleeves of the single clothes of more of the one of the following song had been written, but is that a little of the old days the wind. The key accustomed wearing Seoguromo flip rough servants without spending just as Henyan also should be. Saying, this is the is showed by threatening to play. It will be what is said against you in but, because in was the fact that not but can's a shame case to either. While in trouble with no princess be so written reply. The Mitoya Tama Omodata human use in the surrender sense. When home. Princess of the song has been passed to stop called one of the samurai below. Omu only as each and flip over the sleeve she accustomed also none throughout heart Naki separated. The heart of had been disturbed by the remnants of that night. Kaoru received and was probably not poems then mediocre song just thought pathetic. Hyobu lord of the temple is became come to the eve of a festival vigil in. But supposed to think you in the great perplexities to go to Uji of the bride. When so come in secretly tormented mind, Nakamaya is, because those so come in one person forever is your, no matter how say. These days Yule of floating talk to my ears is now coming in little by little. That is that not good. Toka wind flow favorite what people by hobby you better not erected person made up indifferent. Reputation. All above will also become to worry about you. Quote, and turned to Lord said, In order to sport it, your advice to go to a private residence in the prone point. Come on. Hyobu, Lord of the Temple, is made to think you're painful because when it was at the time, will come to night duty office of Kuritsubo. After it became send it, wrote a letter to the Uji also. Heart came with the source to the place where so come and Chunagan asai restless. Uji is happy and will thank you in the backlash of the people. Would you do? To became so dark, you have the agony does not get out. You say it in this way. But now show you the seal likely dodgatan. The Kaoru, I thought, what extremely depth of sincerity well against the house of the bride. You like that now come to the imperial palace for a while. Yellowtail is tonight, is made to go out immediately without Osobasa the night watch. Nakamaya like will be regards without Obo Shimeshi earlier. Nakamaya, I am more of the weighing table office and I have heard the like of your words. I was remember not then receiving rebuked by hasty cited your guidance is not my best regards to the change of complexion. Viewed my name is, I is not you say so terribly bad. Most of it is probably such because the person is I would like to be sloppy. Do not do anything it as a condemnation from the world. What I don't be the case at a loss cave for about her herself. I think that if it is not such identification, quote, look it from the bottom of my heart to be Seth the Fubi Sobo Shimeshi. Kaoru became your sorry is, because there is anyway the same thing. Tonight you like sins let's I will that I suffer. What sacrificed is not willing. To the mountain of Kabata horse led there is a how. The village of Kabata of Yamashiro horse I wonder Omoi the you go each then walking etc. It is, even now that the stand your rumor even more. Quote, I mentioned this, since the night was only going to become more and more dark. The temple also serves as shinobi was supposed to be visiting the city in a horse. Let's thank Yoroshu is better to rather unexpected Maimira to accompany. We decided to night duty. It will be good offices use something conveniently for you like. To say that, Kaoru decided to remain. When Kaoru miles to the palace of the Empress, Mia's Hyobu Lord seems to have turned to go out. I troubled your Gyoseki. Trouble because sure if your top is to ask would sports you become I think you it's because I do not give you good advice scolding up. You after this became the Lord said. Many of the house like everyone, but it's so come into adulthood. Gohahamaya were become visible tail increases the increasingly youthful beauty. Woman Ichinomiya also will become there you kind of in yourself by any chance will be able to approach so much to Ichinomiya. And will be able to be heard adjust your voice. Longing from childhood day now in addition was the pathetic mind of this person. Also become possible to think a person unworthy think the erotic person. In such a relationship, indeed they've been allowed to come close to a certain extent. Yet at the time, such as that severe separated is erected in it. Suffering if agony will be too, but it's not like yourself to those fain of interest of the opposite sex. Because it even still the heart began to move is a thing hard to suppress. And Kaoru was wondering like, made we have appearance also CO also all good. At least those who flawed. Which also features a nice thing. And there is also a person of about particularly noticeable is in. Because they decided that might be the mistakes of love. Kaoru had only seriously even come to the palace of the Empress. Not deliberately not even the person who behaves like get in the eyes of this person. Even wife who live deeply modesty also so as not to damage the dignity in the upper and lower. Because personality is something different each. Beautiful curiosity to Kaoru, such as the person who even while being suppressed seem to appear to the outside. Kaoru mercy feel, even if there is to be a drawn or likely of mind. Everything also continued a blind eye is considered to be calm because it's of impermanence of this world. Though Inuji are being Yoko so well as large an errand from Kaoru. Mia to faith does not become invisible you. In order to come of the only use of your letter. So did not appear in reliable person because this is a if there is. Within the sister queen had been agony. The middle of the night is near. In the stand blown rough wind, Hyobu, lord of the temple, is armed with shiny smell, because we came to show you the beautiful your appearance. There is no reason to not remember the joy. You're in the new wife also seems to be that you have a favor which is not similar to the previous. The appearance of your very beautiful blue min, let alone tonight, appeared because we had been yosuwa cleaned by the surrounding people. Also a kind there is no beauty. Rather than to become even found you a drawback to your eye of the temple, so come to know a lot of beauty. Oboshi Meshi be just in appearance and mind is revealed by lover of that excellent increasingly close since there was in. Without knowing be such as wife that old of Sanso, no matter how ugly facial expression if it had satisfied itself to look at you in a while a smile distorted. In this much to those who find of mediocrity wife you it will however be a shame to think that if we were to become arguing that it was good to be able to become you have your lucky ideal yojin, that the large princess not attempted to accept eager suitors of Kaoru he had been accused secretly. So the costumes people who became such a middle-aged and a beautiful variety of silk that was a gift from Kaoru. There was no wife you think that the good feeling even one person in that is a dressed up, not even well matched, respectively. Look, princess of the total angular is this. His is also a woman past of prime. Yuku only skinny face looking at these days mirror. Have a confidence that in itself in these people is all fairly clean. There should be no ugly and acknowledge those who apparently unexpected and embarrassed the face that was the makeup hook only to deeply face. Forehead, hair without thought might have happened to the form of the back of the head. Izu is himself still as much as any. Eyes think the nose is also the correct form. And may well be embarrassing such I think that will be and might be a thing due to no selfish thoughts. I was sleeping while looking at the outside. To become the wife of all the well-equipped fine young man and a source Chunagon is in that which is not scolded so finally yourself think. One more. How to decline if the 2 years would be a more rapid degree. Originally and since it is of his poor constitution, large princess was deeply taste the sadness of life while producing wrist was slender to the outside of the sleeve. When the Hyobu lord of the house is in your thinking that was hard to go out tonight, is to become your even anxiety in the future. It was even then so in your chest will be blocked now. Begone been a like story of Nakamaya. Please do not have doubt be followed by a not come date while not have a change does not love. Karanimo neglected to when was do you think you should that come out well as tonight paying this kind of struggle as there is not. Do not become a can as you believe my love choose it. A pity that is or agony. I came when thought to the familiar also how about himself. All the time this is so does not even appear to continue. I think you once transferred to near me and cooked their place convenient to you live. Quote, although the temple were to be referred to you this from the sincerity. Become a will would be that the interrupted to say you from now between. From the famous amorous life. Your tension the line of prevention for Mai to Ulama when will be the queen that was domesticated. In Coco Roboso of was not he is not also not pessimistic in outlook. The sky close to the dawn. The temple were to become out to you looked also invited the queen to open and press the side of the Sumato. Through the fog is made of the lonely landscape of Uji with a distinctive standing deeply in the after going through moving faintly example Shiba ship. White wave had drifted without the muscle. Interesting temple there when the wind flow heart in the house that was beside the unusual scene. Was Oboshi Meshi, in beauty, Takaner in your appearance and to see the dawn of the low light that has been Hinome from the mountains of the east, became seemed my with your better than this even princess was Kashizuka the best place. What pretentious afford him with the feeling that because it is the current emperor of the prince is an error. If look at the good with it this person more than now. Will Oboshi Meshi to mind is full and also want to know. The more than rather a person becomes can you can see little has become desirable you. Ikuan was not a happy sound. With or had not leave the only old long to be the limit of the Uji Bridge. When you went sunny fog. Also became a sadness around the shore. Given the desolate feeling, I was able to have a long time in such a land or you say it to see that so come in tears of the palace. The queen was ashamed I feel. And your appearance of look good now Mia was very shiny. Have heard of become your whisper pledge not as long as this world. Although the people were unexpectedly tied, and rather than have the chunigan of that cool seal good people think the queen is the Kiasui. More of this fate it was to people who are ardent love of that person was also not their own. There is a place that is not popular in terms that seem to appear in the mind state. Such as crystal clear, yet his own at that time this house was what I thought was the presence of the much less far distant place. To be better was even embarrassed to reply to short your letter. Now the mind is not the case. Also the think that it would be lonely if there be none in a long time come on. Change seems that embarrassing suspicious while you thought in mind in the it is to come to hear the people of companion that make a voice prompt one after another. And so as not to become brighter as eye-catching enter to Kyoto. Temple will be of your own when trying to become by lost returnable paths it not has become in the Keisu Geisu also you say so as not to be worried. No wet sleeves and midnight lay pieces of hasha he made a no if abortion thing. Or the temple that was also basa the hesitation as go home as was whispered this song. Should be across waits for the medium constantly to flip can only spring an Uji bridge of an hour. Favor of, referred to only as such. Words are also to know the look of sadness of farewell to the appearance of the queen while small. The no tag you love the temple became come remember. Put off for your morning appearance of the young woman mind that should not unexpected given the impression the house of someday the person who shimmed to the body. Such is the smell that remains after the queen had become. The first time wives maid this morning was slow of Otashi was Pipu a temple. Chunigan like will have your place special to the goodness of nostalgic your dignity or will from Omoinashi that now your identity on the one stage. Gorgeous your, I come to see you as much beauty as not even what I would like so seed. It was applause to say such a thing. To the Kyoto on the way. Is to remember you the queen showed fu was May in farewell. And want to turn back to the left again Sanso. But were become think you missed until the unsightly oboe she meshi be with your own. The public talked about ever since afraid you leave. And became also send several copies to each only the day your letter not accustomed to easy to contact returnable. What sincerity then it is not that we piled up the day of interrupted you while I think my will of you. In the queen's sister Omoanayan had hoped and so that no one can be hard to look at these results but himself was to Witherton and is that painful then is the party. This is from the heart, which I think would be mailer the Kimi care and even more to show on the surface. Pretending to be Senufu care well also. It was a large princess go a way of mine to be desired by the increasingly Kaoru in my taste the bitterness of married even your own. Kaoru even if you know the situation is not accustomed to come to Uji of Hyobu lord of the temple. And would be to think the queen of Sanso is impatient. I think to be the responsibility of its own. If prompted implicitly you to the temple. Your Miya Kinjo did not neglect attention to. Because the temple as became clear that so come to tilt the affection to the queen of Uji. For you now of the state as in and do not want anxiety even this was the thought that Nadi Orosu the chest, in September of 10 days, is when the autumn colors of the hills and fields is omoiara to anyone. The sky is spilled dark drizzle. Was the evening that has come out of the clouds to the horrible I feel. Palace of Uji and more than Harao person becomes to think you. What a let's also go going to happen. To the place where so come wondering is not to be decided as you're in what was intended or with one person. Was able to imagine you think Kaoru came to visit us. What about more of the mountain village? It was said of Chunigan was this. is your pleasure. Let's go out together from now. Because you have finished, say to the Chunagon Kaoru to your car of Nioimiya left the Kyoto to your taking the same car. In accordance with the coming suffering to Yamaji, it was to have you in the temple to become a think many pathetic you a lover that is a reverend. The cottage. Also in the same car of the people it became tell you just that so come also suffering himself at that point. Go to Kokoroboso of the mind is the road at the time of the fall of twilight. It had bathed the cold rain. In order had dampened the clothes. With a high incense chilly spread of glossy much less become one. The villagers thought as Ikea, Tagawa dream. Wives of the mountain villa that had surrounded the thinness of the son-in-law mister of information. Every day, was like our create your seat by less than the chess pleasure. Summoned to suddenly hand the Toka daughter niece has come out to my wife work to and fro of Kyoto. Second thought wife was to be the serve buckwheat you're in. It is there was 3 people. For Fuhaku people who had contempt until now, the emergence of noble son-in-law Kun was to worthy of wonder. Although large princess were to think happy to be Song Temple visited this lonely night. Although not also do not think the Kaoruin came along a little annoying person. Careful. Do not forget to love the attitude of caring when I think me was people and their people who are in. Your actions are compared with was not so grateful sense of Nioimiya was not forbidden. Sanso considerable control the temple as a your son-in-law Mr. In I mentioned the entertainment. Kaoru while handling Kiosku as a man of the master play. Yurameshiku the people that the only was seated in the room of the parlors thought it was. Truly sorry to think that by princess decided to speak at the thing over. I stumbled from the weakness of their own mind. Or not love was returned to the beginning once again. That we continue this kind of state I think is impossible and the other myself. Kaoru is the lover with all the words I tried to tell a grudge. Finally by it is a princess that was realized also feelings should be respected for this person. That Yuan has become many things to sink in thought because it was a marriage. Would be convinced to those disagreeable things that even more love, no more approaching my forgive, is a partner feels in the pure love now, is not the difference to occur if the marriage can blame this person. And this deeply want to continue the friendship itself unchanged also this person it was to decided to mind. It is to talk about the temple, and listen to, such as your appearance and from more of Kaoru, that these days little by little, princess also things like I had imagined Kaoru said. Kaoru becomes sorry, the temple that is to have a deep attachment. We're talking about such gloomy, your day feeding of these days without your freedom to know yourself. To explore, the princess after that story better mood than hero. Such is now also the end that we are caught in a new worry. Let's hear a story around to also well have subsided in the gas. And he said, rather than indifference that cause antipathy. Moreover Sumako has had been closed tightly. By force in the Kaoru knows that I thought the princess in a grossly sympathy with no behavior is. To try to remove the separated, would be an idea to this person. Become a wife of lightly others because a person who is believed a thing is not as put away. The human mind always the comfort, was able to suppress it while focusing the mind in love, while we respect even where is your will. Thus only save the dissatisfaction of that you have to talk with things over. Please, I'd like to talk rec to close as the other day, but I tried to blame and I have had these days of I decline than hero, and either do not becomes unpleasant to contact turn to look at the face. Well what happened? It's also the heart of concern of such a thing, and say, but they're of suspicious enough of charm. Such is the sign of faintly laughed the princess of the total angular Kaoru felt. That luck even might been dragged to your heart, not far away from it, I will happen at length. Say such a thing. Man spent the night to tend to the Tansoku. Hyobu lord of the temple. The night of Uji not only to the even one person lying Kaoru now not be imagined. Chunagon is Itab husband that are long in the bedroom reproachful. To become you say that, you in like a strange word had to ask. Even if the come to the impossible, it became come also remember the deep sorrow palace again soon in agony. Not must not turn back. You're in that do not know these your mind. Whether it would have made since it ice or can I weathered to become a public laughing stock, was believed to be that the addition of not suffer with such thing as love, while becoming to come the amorous of name took in Kyoto. It is the place to be secretly through and you go was to have you in the temple not truly. In Roku joined lived in Sadaijin or in the same mansion, was seemed think also as reproachful and not unexpected temple to you sixth that Gashi to his wife of Neoimiya to have anything of interest to say that is not a good lover life. Because was Fusei also leaked you a dissatisfaction feeling up to the emperor to your condemnation. That the temple mercilessly, that the princess ate of the temple. Surprisingly to anyone where is hesitation in becoming a welcome people as a wife to give the feeling that there were many women so come in the light love partner. Made in 2 articles in the appearance of Miyazaki. Also can become a good opposites you free to become put as to Roku join maid. Was a rather carefree, than the lover of such moderate comparable not to come I also little. If the world is moved, if on the day for some time in the hope of the emperor and after is realized, laid that this person in a higher position than anyone want to is because it I think. Your heart of the current temple have been exhausted inclination to you in the Uji. Thinking only about whether I will get to how to see happiness if Titan always phases. That person it was to come. Chunigan was thinking trying to Mukayo a large princess and take the finished gradually good way of Sanjo of the house that are rebuilt after a fire. Still people in the row of retainers maybe said that it is comfortable. While this much love will come in, the marriage to become a have you in the secret of it. A pity that seems not continual agony you to be into the temple. The two of you relationship from their own I would like to get for your understanding and I would like to Nakamaya. Curtain is made to made noise you. Temple troublesome I is unexpected may become your love. If you in for the better of you in. It is a temporary thing. My is also to become a direct pain. The temple you feel the bitterness of which is in something like this night also revealed the ends. Not to back home you go painful and can you might guess I am sure. If such marriage is recognized openly, you insufficient material assistance into. I would like to become a treatment no shame in serving as a wife of the house to his brother instead. Kaoru began to think travel, without the by force confidential things, also became a season of winter of reinvented these days and that. But doing I think it would be those that lend force to who the shitaku in addition to their own. Silk chipping of your book. Such thing as wall dynasty was made in preparation for new construction has been the transfer of Sanjo Palace because there was. I was sent to tell the Fu that they should be used and makeshift to Uji. In addition was Kaoru which was also made to openly commanded such as to also own nanny thing too. Whereof wives of various mountain cottage. One day around of October is have begun fishing a Jiro. In order to Chunigan and I say that is when a lot of the most interesting to play to Uji was invite. The temple. Hyobu Lord of the Palace Uji bound for watching autumn leaves Omo Itachi became. In particular, although the only people who will love you the house was the intention of our play of traveling. Incognito in the number. A big momentum in addition to palace circles officials to be intimate oboshi meshi if you are attached you to the temple because now there is you in the temple to become a commode. Time in without going to become very much an event. I mentioned accompany the Prime Minister Lieutenant General of Sadaijin House in addition to the number of plans. Only as the official source Chunigan was Tadamatsu had Marrow. Palace circles the number of officials were many. From Kaoru believed that to become your deviation sure to Queen our Sanso. Please put your thinking that will come a substantial number of customers and the attendant of the house. Some people have asked me in the spring of your play of yesteryear also wants to participate house. It might try to call on you unexpectedly, in order to have the attention bits and pieces, such as, let change over a mistake, to the cleaning of around the parlor, was paid to the degree presentable the decaying leaves of autumn leaves collected in the garden of rock shade, then scraped off the water plants of small flow the queen was like. From more of Kaoru to also have such good of confectionery. Also had been brought also Kisa young people who put out the entertainment role. The princess was thought to be as hard as that you have received unabashedly take care of Kaoru. That's so much, but because rely places of no other, and to be subject to favor giving up I think that such a fate. Hyobuser it was prepared to welcome the temple. Play of the row voice to achieve the funny music while up and down the river also sounded good too. The mountain villa by boat. It was not that it is not visible to the eye. Young wife we had except everyone from towards the parlor facing the river. Mia is the do not know well where to become come. But it is if there is a ship that blew in thick yukata branches of autumn leaves. A good brass band had been flowing from there to the water. Is the river wind is invited to gorgeous. Who also is Kashizuki is to love and respect the temple that suggest Ikamashiku even when you play. These traveling incognito, waiting then the rare visit that is similar to a time of Huanwei there is only Tanabata Hikaboshi a year. If not a rare, be viewed as a son-in-law Mr. seemed that there is no difference in happiness. Mia is the so come by example sway and sentence Dr. Oboshi Meshi, who become Atsukuri poetry. In the evening the ship is being asked to everyone coast, but Sagaku was done followed, but rather of poetry and the ship was opened. People to the music began ensemble of Seisen music refers to the dark of pale foliage of twigs in the crown, in which nobody enjoys. Mia only come remember the feeling of the song called Squid if not extinct the people foo. To take each omi of the sea of Miru myth. Of a distant people mind. Serena Carlin of a distant people to the child stranded Hisa across the Amano of Tanabata. Is made to think you that it would be if just one person was the so come is stunned. An issue title that matches the cage. People of poetry was excited to the creative, waiting for the time to go little subsided in human movement of the ship would be to go to the mountain villa Kaoru, to one that was you whispered that to the temple, the brother of the prime minister in response to your words of Nakamaya from the imperial palace. Doraemon supervision pulling in his spectacular Zujin, while some down to your in full dress appearance. Also these your sleepwalking is that was made secretly, transmitted to the naturally rumors to the public. Although it is also made in the example of after. It has become to go out while a small of your entourage of ponderous officials but entered in your ear, were dispatched as governor. It was added to your line in addition to many not accompanied by the palace circles officials also. It is also noisy for such. The two of you with the person you think is up to the painful sorrow. Not been going to the place of purpose. Whatever it be interesting no longer seems such as the temple of your mind is disturbed drunk. Without knowing. Who also spent the night in a figure which has become addicted to such music. Dayu and also a lot of palace circles officials came, but still the expectation that if the next day the temple became come have. Also Nakamaya from in the morning. Palace turned come become the heart Ochianu. Was not accustomed to, such as in you will feel like home in this state. Your statement to your place in the mountain villa has been sent. Not to afford your mind so come saying such as wind flow thing. Although only seriously were those made in bits and pieces to give your mood. The queen thought that since it is when the person is many samurai it has not been the answer. To those pathetic about her herself, such as its own has become a mistress. A woman to be the person who disproportionate must have thought deeply. When the distant road is located between appeared to be a sense also of a rare day to see face. Were you in that can comfort themselves with a will if have not been forgotten also have been. placed in such a state that only they were shown a flashy you play the first time, but come to a place near you in which are not think you're Meshiku Temple Takuro. I could not in agony Kuchiyoshiku even think Mia is made to become your in much less melancholy feelings. Has been oboshi meshi helplessly the enchanting unpleasantness that bubbles to miss people. Hio fishing a jiro be more particular, such as samurai to install mix it to clean a variety of autumn leaves in the basket rather than the number head kyoji. When the upper and lower both are immersed in the joy of Yusen, the temple only to be met in the chest in grief became come look at just more of the sky. Then you noticeables was a tree falling in the Queen of the Mountain cottage. Looks like a manifestation of Takiwagi to interesting Tokusutama Miji of color even Koga of the large tree. The is one poised to really even think from far away as of it. Chunagon also looking at the ship. His is a prelude to very much an I had been was rather thought rather than fending tin weather now. To see the results in a deep reverie. 2 years ago in the spring young nobleman who accompanied us to visit your Sanso 8 of the temple to Kaoru, recalled the cherry blossoms of the base river at that time. No matter how discouraging it is that the queen was a loss, the Chichimiya it still is folded in there. We had each other's sympathy and will. People who have heard the rumors that were so come to the one person in the Mistress Hyobu Lord of the temple is hidden also think that the will was there, because the people that does not know the situation is also of many. Just that the queen was not in solitary woman, even if hidden in this mountain village, because it of the young beauty are those who know the natural world. It is that very beautiful woman 13. But Kodo virtuoso of the stringing is so in order to deceased's house like that had been well the education of the better. I had to say and so unanimously. Lieutenant General of the Prime Minister is some time ago and also to glance she under the trees of the prime of flowers autumn Sabashiki. I said to Kaoru think that because it is a deep person of nepotism on the 8th of the temple. That person, to what omoi no them flowers half in bloom also untimely also ordinary autumn leaves world sakura. Doraemon supervision. Izoko Yori shade of autumn when Ken Yamazato of autumn leaves the things flowed past. Nakamaya Taiyu. Wonder if viewed she people nowhere hard to rock trees mountain village longer crawling hell could zoo. More than anyone else was crying because it is an old man. Willer reminded of around 8 of the temple was our young Hyobu Lord of the houses. Autumn have blown a book of loneliness better than would such smelling basil mind shofu of. But come a sing you with. To see that so come in tears badly sadly. People who know the secret. Temple reputation as expected seems so come to love deeply the people. To there even such opportunity the fact that so come is not to be you is to think to be too bad. But it was also the inability of your execution to be enter your brought the only such people to the mountain cottage. And poetry interesting passage made of people have Dari everyone humming. But although the hero also more of the song had been able to considerably more since it is that of the different trip. Leaving from the head was drunk because there, in the place that was accepted a little, omit from unexpected boring rather than honorable mention. In Sanso no in the voice of the precursor that was heard up away to the equivalent of the signs of one line of the temple was go standing uji. Did not happy feelings. People who were the shitaku of your hospitality was everyone unduly disappointed. Large princes were much less to remember this feeling deeply. Seems to still Mia like to be a thing of the life of selfish love with amorous as rumored. And Yoso Nagara listening to the love story of people. Say very well light for the woman thing called man and appears to be one. And is intended to use the love has no man to love clever words to fuas. When the woman unexpected clogginer in my house we had heard that the life story is of identity of the only and not people will there be such fumajime man. A person standing as a noble. Had thought would be there also where abstain in Hibaka, also criticism of the world is. His recognition is was not enough. So to come also heard Chichimiya as those who amorous dating to became to Toyu had seemed that was not your idea to as the son-in-law of this house. Wonders such as eagerly suitor. Already will be another edges tight. It is that Tankawashi of it by now that more add up to is a lot of trouble of heart misfortune of their own. Your opponent's sister of closely became thinner you of love temple. Chunagon as or would not think to look down, but not to have a fine wife. Still embarrassed may think what is its people. Sister Queen began to undermine even the help by agony and became a people laugh is such fate. While you're in question is a good who does not see you only Tomasaka. Have been whispered the passionate love. My there is what things like will and also change all of your heart aloe now before the eyes. Always was also there's a place to ask that there is no difference in because there is also a yogi nigh touch cannot be made to come. It will be should an unexpected painful because it did not for some time to come. Is that now's it going just became your genwashi your appearance to the nearby mailer care to the Urameshiku. Unfortunately I think what then is the princess of the total angular looked pathetic his. The unexpected is answered. If you had been Kashizuka the princess seems palace of the world the same level. This mansion is to think to should the temple was not made to pass through unless things such poor. If that myself still alive, it will be engaged in these eyes. Also because Chuinagon seek the pure love in a variety of words. Be only the mind that to try their own. One person yourself more than friendship to be mine to come out. That the real intention of that person who fully know the place to go then not it. There is a limit of even the power to dismiss of their own. Women who are at home to the failure of the mediating role learn by experience without also. Because now is also somehow not even those who do not want to be in your good people the Chunagon by. My feelings are not respected. That he would be the wife of that person as a result will become. This is also take remedied without fukiness. No doubt that it was so. As we guarded better themselves. Unhappy they're lost as early as the mother Kun. She farewelled to Chichimiya and I had. But that dealing lightly of it is maybe its own since it is a kumeya person. Becomes a thing of unsightly abandoned wife. To annoy you until your heart of fukin after it has passed away consisting of sad to look like will be the died while keeping the virgin that need not sink to such pensive just one person myself. Large princess to continue to think Akakor such a thing is. Remember even a premonition of lonely death. The Yuin is also poor. It will become people more no plaything far from the aftershin ill care up to you. Beautiful by this person cursory review their own only of comfort. Hope just wanted to somehow happy woman it was. To say that with no matter how noble person a good person. That we observe the Kokei as a wife not to the nun while receiving an insult. Such as the now and must be embarrassing as there is no example. Then large princess that will continue I think to it. Myself. Et al. Sisters this world in was to become Kokorobasoku and seems to have a destiny that and remain. Not be obtained even a little of comfort. Hyobu lord of the temple but was trying to be your go-to uji and traveling incognito or soon. After became your bellflower. Mia like Hyobu lord is now come signed a secret relationship with the princess of 8 of the Temple of Uji. There is become omoitachi things like mosu suddenly from time to time near your trip. To your thoughtless I do not you rumors greetings in public that. And in order to Akazome oversee the son of Sidaijin was softly I would like to Nakamaya. Nakamaya also sported a worry. Because the emperor was also the was needed to Kazukawa Shiku Oboshi Meshi, your Mimochi of the temple. From the ordinary. This by severely even more monitoring it was also Basa the unexpected such good offices not to put. At an inch from the court the Hyobu lord of the temple. The marriage of the 6 women of Sidaijin is to the temple. Which did not become to Yunuo. Was forced to become that person to be used said things like that anymore which made to his wife. Chunagon had become melancholy to hear it. He is then have too much change and too human. to aid of the house or in any fate was not also forget the words that it was so the princesses to concern. Also discovered that it is also excellent women the queen who from us seems to be too unreasonable to regrettable that have been ignored by the world. To be the person of the happy wife did not leave the mind. Is also Basa hope just Hyobu lord of the temple also eagerly to which was though that unlike princess to be his subject. From the place where I think without pleased the one of the queen now being is in question people. Trying metra to myself, the house with people that I had not tied the door. It was too hasty and think now. Both of them should there was no person to blame be to his wife. But it's not too late Torikesa. With each other to the agony and was a foolish action. Mia is much less the queen of Uji was very no time. Not take to your heart. I miss you think now. Is to become remember you also fear that unexpected might have become what the Shirin Uma? When was become there you are, fairy, your favorite people. And in one of my wife by Kiso here. Would be good if the love trying to inconspicuous. You crown prince like. Ninomiya followed by the future of the position as special because you above is the Irasharu. Turned your thoughts to Mr. Causing this such thoughtless love problem. So it does not have my best regards as being criticized from the people. Quote, something like this Nakamaya was of being Asobasa for your advice all the time. Vigorously drizzle is falling day who also few miles to the imperial palace. The Hyobu lord of the temple became come to my sister Kun of the woman Ichinomiya palace. And without many number of wife you are samurai in your living room. Princess had just has quietly become the look in picture now. Your two-way and the only separated Kicho it became the talk. Also Lady Ness with no grace only. Also Song Himamiya with a softness that was supple. And would not the women with more of the high Hana beauty in this world. Is to come to think Hyobu lord of the temple from the old days words that also your rumor of human sagacity turned in. This will come to believe that it will only princess of the cold spring council because close people. Even every respect to become and received from the public. Your appearance also. Your is imagined from the love to the house of remember so come in hospital of the temple. There is nothing that the opportunity to become through your any. Yet it is of a Hyobu lord of the temple so come have in mind no time to forget. Such was equipped with a pretty high dignity of the people of that Uji mountain villages. And will not as good as compared to those of the best lady. With Kimi-in from your appearance of sister Kun is Lenovo. To Mr. Obo Shimeshi be the heart of comfort as well. And so come to see a lot of pictures that had been placed there. Beautiful in a color picture. Fall in love if there are Drew and man of residence. Of a variety of appearance mountain village landscape was also along. It perched our eyes to something similar to the views of the mountain villa of Uji lover. The house and I want to send it to you in this picture to obtain the consent of the princess became. You think. There is also a picture depicting the tales of ice. Visit have taught the harp to my sister. Fu what the picture narrow here as each and that does tide the people of the I try your rawa kajeni. See loose grass omu are saying and to either become will become your mind to pull your heart. Is your deviation to a little close. It is what old people and compatriots who live without discrimination. You may leave the only your treatment that not enough things. But the became your say in the Himamiya is because there was a Fubiobo Shimeshi whether that of any picture. Hyobu lord of the temple became pushes you wound it to the middle from the bottom of Kicho. The picture will look at the dish the house of your hair turned downward. Imagine the remnants to one end of spilled even outside fluttering. This beautiful person becomes his Neoimiya in mood that if was not brothers it became Kumte. From such mood hard to suppress. Etc. Naomo the Naib grass min mono than what Musubo love upcoming feels comfortable. It was said by me such a thing. Wife or samurai to Himamiya Iser hiding entered into the back of everyone something ashamed. Particularly from exiting to the previous Neoimiya. Do not depending on it. The himamiya byobo shimeshi and is intended to say that the unpleasant nothing was the not you tell. And the answer I feel sister of the princess also pancake was omo aruru kana of the back rather than things, but this reason could not be made to have a favorable impression is asabasa. Since purple Mrs. Roku joined was then the kindness you at hand. Especially the two people in the house who came to come I love you both in the most intimate things. Himamiya the Nakamaya is very take care sported. From the eagle if become maybe on the yoki ga okashizuki. It was to have you put quite a few well as made. It is hard to conserve you an embarrassed wife is also a little bit of disadvantage. Daughter of the aristocracy had become more wife. Moves easily heart of Hyobu lord of the temple. By, for example, become the person that is the object a new feeling to have to love her in these. While not become forgotten your people of Uji. Let's go to see you and it has passed the day without being is. Speaking from human better to wait. This has been thought for a long time. Still with what would something like this to forget is. The only Kokorobasoku pensive is. Just Shunagon came to visit in such a time. Then it came to visit to hear the princess of the total angular became ill. It was not a biota enough to say to come appear immediately impact on the little things. Princess refused to talk to and trusted to it. As soon as hear the announcement. Because am I that went up the distant road surprised. Please through all means to near your bed. To say that, in order to show the seal. Not go back in this state anxiety. The seat to the front of the mistakes in the queen's room is created. Kaoru went there. Princess and is that the trouble had been suffering want. But not also of the show so frosty seal. It was such as Stonehenge raised his head from the pillow. That the temple is the day of the autumn leaves of a ship that did not become your deviation nor your will Kaoru says. Please have a look in mind permanent. As he does not or your resentment by using a suspense and superb mind. Also referred to as teach and the like. I do not do or spill the exceptional bitches but, like the temple, which was passed away is, was now put you to leave your lessons. I was wondering if only these things also arasa myoboshi meshi. That person is there the poor. Quote. Following that was the tan rather than signs of large princess. Kokoroguro shiku and Kaoru itself even be made ashamed. Thing called life. Nothing so does not constitute go to everyone I think is expected. For unto you is to do that which is not to have a little also experience. But there will also be the think you just your meshiku. Please wait for my time will calm it even by force. Never and not in this state will become worse going I believe. Quote. While it referred to as such. And I think that with each other to this defense in other people's love, not that of its own, did not also do not feel strange, because was invariably painful becomes pathology at night. Others think that you are annoying in the fact that to come in the vicinity of the hospital room, because people still nestled the bed for the usual rooms offer a guide there was but, if you think not become and all the time disturbing is. And you're so come and let alone become something like this you worse. The eye went up also immediately. It is useless to become away you from the hospital room. Of such a case care Nanzo also. Who can you in good condition other than me? Quote. And the like. Said to the valve of the old woman. Also good offices of the prayer that makes the beginning Kaoru was. Such a thing is embarrassing. That it is a worthless their own as I think even want to die. But large princess worthing have heard. For the people who have the favor. Also the seem so as not caring painful and that was the mood that may be well alive. Like this. It was the gentle emotions or also the queen. Turn to the next morning from more of Kaoru. What seems to be a little your mood you want. I want to talk to at least even as much as yesterday. And if say, will gradually becomes worse today thank very Karushu. So to hear, there was a greeting that Chunagon heard it pathetic. What way to think would be painful in, and the uneasiness whether might it is a harbinger go so bad to be shown friendly than before. And a variety of story go by near. Now I cannot painful to your Stonehenge. Hey, if you have a little better. And Kokoro Guro Shiku is pathetic lover referred to in this faint voice. Kaoru had a Tansoku. Since it was a person that cannot be, you are indeed thus far today. Trying to bellflower well and disturbing. I think trying to transfer you have entrusted their lives to therapy to try to change the house. There is no way inconvenient to. Such as when you disease in this kind of place to the appropriate place. Place referred to as such. Leaving the mountain cottage, let me tell to be eagerly prayer to Acharya of Matera. There was a person who became a young wife in love or relationships, Sanso man who came for frequent visits by Kaoru servant. The story and the two people. The Hyobu lord of the temple monitored her severely. It's said to be a come forbidden go out. He is supposed to be the back push the daughter in your marriage, said Ijin, but because of a thing called to Stonehenge, because the better of the minister is achieved is aspiring. Long-standing, would be realized this year. Mia that in mind the story is not you proceed to, because so come and enjoy with a self-indulgence life in the imperial palace. We also your treatment of your upper and Nakamaya like will not did not get a toe. Autologous of the Lord is such not it never. Such as you are in trouble is all in that too seriously. Who said that as he has only surprising your devotion to become this often come here towards the. One person also said that impressed. Both said, and I heard this kind of talk. The woman is your inner told. Among other wives heard. Just continued blocked is also busy as well on it. Too is it any more and more away from there if and must be interpreted to be. Would did not only became come carrying a temporary love until the fine deals misses to myself. Only letter in Habakari to such truly Chunigan, but it was of being considered would become a Taurus. You write things like a information even now. Then I think the people unreproachful, and feel there is no embarrassing own place. Lying and wilting which was, from the time when disease queen it entered the ear, no longer seem to want to have more long in this world. Boring unexpected there is in women, but from the agony you think that the unexpected may have. No matter how I was ridiculed, this apology is also the person who was the sleeping in the seal, which is not heard, although you in with each other to a nap that was to pillow the elbow, which is said to be figure of people to the pensive. Its appearance is a pretty, the hair of beautiful, such as a place which is accumulated in the side of the shoulder. Disease queen while look. Things that the words of the parent Isame, parent of Isame Shin Apso and so of Terashin, is Kesu remind been made sad. Becomes the come also Fukin is go to the place where fall deep human sin that world my. Even if I want to also pick his case to the place where so come anywhere. Is to put your throw themselves looking at just so sad I think. Fukin is not Kudasara is becoming even appear even to dream continues I think. It really is the color of the evening sky. Down the drizzle, while listening miss the sound of the wind blowing off the bottom of the tree falling. Thing of the past, to the appearance you are in bed at Hawkenin that the day of the later is. Features are also there is no goods good. Wearing the clothes of white, but the head icer not also combing. The hair has become javelin next to remain aligned even without clean muscle was tangled color. Seems to have served with gloss flare also was a little can of bluish. The beauty of the eyes with the amount with was like I want to show to the person who understands. Well but say good woman of the face. Queen of better to have a nap in. Got up and surprised the rough sound of the wind. Colors of bright yellow, pale bright assortment of kimono wore. But the face of such as purple is also to deliberately beautifully. As dyed beautifully, with the color and flowers, etc. Pensive seem to like that not know any. I saw your father in a dream. In the things omowashi likely. Now just come to the place of this area. The heart of the listening disease queen say has become even more sad. From getting to re-died. Somehow want to see you when you go in a dream I am not a come out even a little to have always wanted. After you have said, two people were very crying. since it is of these days thinks their own Akakor. Well, there was also so come out suddenly. You really want to go to Soba of Fukin? Not even the wife of the man. A clean body that does not have as well. Such as child I want to go have been to the other world. And large princess was thinking also to that of the afterlife. Handonko that was in the old days of China were also longing want for Miss Fukin. Hyobu, lord of the house, you're the time that has become dark came. One such moment is supposed rested also musings of a two queen. You did not even try to read soon in. Give you write your answer to show that still quietly Daisama attitude. When no longer I leave this, more than now might you become a discouraging circumstances. Wife mediating role of any person is going Sutomeo it because of you might. I think it is a concern. I will also feel that remain of the mind. But while the interest of this much better is to come from time to time but send a letter I Rasharu. Have to you. Such a reckless thing when I think that would not be the woman that you try. You are to still ask while reproachful. When the princess say, the will think you like to die before the terrible your sister. Do not sad. You said this in, had hidden more and more deeply face into the night clothes. I because my life is I shall not leave I think of myself. I am but I wanted to go chasing after your father when as soon as that. It because still is alive in this way. Tomorrow is another their relationship though it may become life no. Again of the has plagued the mind by later. Probably because I think that I want to do my for anyone. Quote, the large princess have read your letter of the house let me ask the light to the nearby. Always delicate heart is written as. Such Gamla will shake at it obo sukana as if squid the same kumoy drizzle. Will the things like that wet the sleeves with tears is in that person? It was just going to the Urameshi of Masa also while watching that it is a word that no one man says. If you are Razar Areru in an exceptionally rare handsomeness in your appearance that so come to make the gloss about to be loved by more and more people. There is no reason that dogs are attracted young mind. They're in you and to think you as much as I miss the housemaid if distant space day. Tula Rihodo, because it became to come into, such as any parole, while this no matter what it mind that returns I think will the becomes it made to the people. There was always next to. In order to make use the unexpected must for your reply was delivered to one of tonight is busy. Losing to wife urges. Just you in the only word wrote. While the village of hail falling Miyama is Kakiku Rashi also Gamla sky in the morning and evening. It was that of October of 30 days. Whether millet unexpected day is not equal to or greater than 1 month. While the temple is made to come feel the guilt. Even when to come in sync with what tonight, that touch is visiting the city and many from the next to the next while that cannot be. This year of the 5 festivals will be immediately entered in November. The air of the imperial palace side is made to those colorful. Neither of that become drawn to come to it. To call on you bother Uji neither do not try to be. The day we stood under cover. The better between this Uji might are thought to the far no matter how waiting. Become a lover of negligence and not Tsukuri not be necessarily so come be comforted by such a thing. I miss Obo Shimeshi to people of the house just was you in the one person. The adoption of the Sadaijin house princess. Nakamaya is also now sporting a control concessions, on which it became every tale obtained in marriage a powerful patron for you. That if in addition there is a person who loves to, or is not sure if your treatment has one of the gravely misses become a pickup. But it came to be Setha. Please wait a little longer. I am in because I have a thought. Do the continued Anami was Hyobu lord of the house to become on. Be made trifle lover. With such vigorous legal wife like to be a come to think of the house and do not want painful think. Is in that person. Because was it not no to Uji. To date it is only applied to the musings along with. Kaoru was also frivolous your mind than the temple was my observation. Though I say believe you and who is there is no such as that seen in the world. Become embarrassed that had intercession to the queen Aruji. More of a woman the I sincerely poor. was so as not to Myra approaching too much to the temple, and did not neglect to listen to the condition of the queen suffering is for the mountain cottage. Reports that little good is in November Kaoru is not obtained, because it was when just a hunter of the use of public and private 5. Suddenly remembered that had not issued the use of 6 days visit. When out by itself also had been abandoned, there was a use still variety. Prayer as to was that had been ordered from this person and until Kaifuku had been attributed just because began to slightly pleasant acharya also to the temple. So out of the mountain below it had become to those serving more lonely. It reported that the disease queen came out example of the valve. Where is that there is not even a place called your hurts. Well now there is you in your condition. Not think the boss's disease. There is no meshiagara things even a little. Generally is your constitution to where you welcome a senjaku. Hyobu from are we going to be of the lord of the temple like. And now will you to those who have made only a badly pensive. Their do you did not relight is trying to meshiagaro even a little candy eye. Your weakness there thank driven. Now zip become futana masuku nai. I was happy to miserable long lived. Their eyes are like a prank to die before more you love to sad eyes. Quote, and that so is not to be also without finish to say seem to sense. Why did not Kudasara me to I also anyone also everyone it? Because thing towards the rice and council was also a kunichi blindly lot of patronage also towards the imperial palace. I guess even out your better of me in between was. I had to worry a great deal. Quote, to say, it went entered to immediately Tanari was placed on the front of the hospital room. Kaoru and sat closer to the pillow were to say things, but cannot hear the Stonehenge of the princess seems to have lost even voice. Until now you so heavy? It is reproachful of anyone did not Kudasara news. Do I have to worry no matter how? Did you not through to everyone? And to say, first, Matera of Acharya, then to Kaoru everyone Sanswa monk who is said to be of efficacy in prayer were invited. The prayer and chanting let me start from the next day. Palace circles officials of help, was summoned many samurai of self, because the top and bottom of the people came together. The sight of Coco Roboso up a mountain cottage up to the day before without any trace. See Tanama Shiku it is became a home. Day wives hoped that the transfer of the seat to the sunset and examples rooms. But it tried the hospitality, such as hot water pickled. It is of late was his coming. Now want to be nursed have to at least closer Kaoru says. South of the chamber with edge because had become a monk of the chamber. In the east side of the room. I went let me make a such as folding screen in place that is close to the bed than that. You're in this as I thought annoying. But wives believe that that relationship, friendship or more of those are tied to the Kaoru and the princesses, was not treated as others. I had to read to continue the Lotus Sutra, which was allowed to start from the first night. What work did of 12 of the monk with a precious voice it seemed well feeling. Light in the south of the chamber are the monks, and performed as a hospital room Kaoru enters slipped to that is dark inside, and saw a sick lover. Second OL wife, was with 3 people, because you were that had hidden to softly things shade. Just stopped by the buckwheat of disease queen of the total angular lying on one floor Kaoru and is. Why do not you Kudasara, let alone voice? To say, he took the hand. While in the heart have been found to become your come. Because the thing that does not we rude. Some time to come because there is this painful thing to say things. I thought that would dying while not any more meet you. 6 said this at a lower than the breath voice. I did not come out long enough to be waiting for you to even, I will. Shikoriage and Kaoru cried. Hair to touch this person's cheek had become a little hot in the heat. You turned to come with the sin nature of what would became grieve your people, was to become your in its last in such a disease. When the various and Kaoru say by pressing a mouth to ear. Princesses annoyingly also be ashamed thought. He choked her face with sleeves. while watching the line still become supple in the appearance from hero. Kaoru has any feelings once you've killed this person was also crushed chest and will had become. Every day of your is cared. It would have been very much become a worry and together slowly alone tonight. Good night because I have been attached to you. To tell you to Kaoru term and you are in the visible unexpected shadow. Well, I think is to not worry. I think that it would there be to speak to something directly. Young queen went to a little far away, even if not to bring a face to the true face. To Kaoru come snuggled close. But large princess were to remember the shame. This much karma as I think that would be there was. And would not dangerous line Fumiko Eo the sympathy of depth was. And I think compared to the one man now, a kind of love was a frame princess. Kitsu Yoku also memories of after the dead. Me not appeared a woman without compassion. Did not try to Oshiaro the person beside. To have beside overnight throughout. But was recommending such as is also Kaoru hot water sometimes. Even it did not listen a little. It is sad that Kaoru that it would be able to stop pulling why this life was the worry of. Through voice chanting a while before the people in the same sound when the monk to read the constant through the place of the people and around dawn was heard precious. Acharya also worked to defend and maintain monk of staying the night. The wake after you have a little snooze, was read the litanies. It was in the old hoarse voice was heard Tanama Shiku Ishiroko's. Do you have a tonight of your appearance as hell? Such as the Acharyas incidentally was asked to Kaoru. Mia like'll become come to any place. But always I thought and so come to the other clean world. And were able to look up at you in the other day of a dream. Your appearance of it is still popularly and now I need to. Because I believe that where the deeply disagreeable life, he was nothing that remains of obsession. But there is a point that seems a little worried. Or not end up even to where aspire for a while now thee is a pity. These how can my be gone in me to take such away save the feelings clearly. From what I am that a good idea or want what you faster in such a case does not come out. Anyway I was wondering if in fact you can also disciple 5th training. We are allowed to continue the Buddha in the 6 people. Then also to have noticed we have walked the disciples to no line of the normally non-light. Kaoru heard to say such a thing was very crying. Or a disease a queen is even to interfere with the way of Buddhahood of Fukan even to hear it? Mourned only does constantly breathe as it is. By all means Fukan is still myself went to the one that so come wandering the road of the netherworld. It was to think that like to come to the same place. Acharya was carried out standing seat to not talk much. Beginning this normally non-light line the villages of this area. A line that poked the forehead even around to the houses of the gate up to the Kyoto towns. In order to avoid the wind of the cold dawn, wreck of the Acharya of teacher enter to have Sanso. It is said in the end stages have said the words of echo sitting to the place of the middle gate is. Was the keenly shim only of the deceased of the bereaved family. Since A.S. Chuinagan was also a person that devotion to Buddha customers. Which was also heard crying. You came close to two sickbed, think Kazukawa Shiku the sister Kunin. Know the signs that have come to the shade of Kicho of more of the back Kaoru. To correct the Mai without residence. How did you hear the voice of the nun light? Is that it does not as the better of the solemn sect. But it is precious thing. And say, also, rather than taste staggered uchi wabi of frost is loose and VL sound sad asabare kana. He said this just as words. I think that there is a person of was similar to the reproachful lover but cannot put out the voice of Stonehenge. It was superseded by the valve. No, the Yakatsuki of frost out fan high rather than staggered one's omu of human heart. But was instead the role that does not rather than to look good too. Valve in Sutanaku there is no voice diction was served this role. Also gifts of these words. Both the queen that can remember the good old brilliant smell while there is deep refrain from. Or not unexpected must Shimawa turned elsewhere in after the death took the sister queen. Accustomed to losing everything, Kaoru will bad when all mind that thought even this horrible thing. Even if you think that aid of the temple to the dream of Acharya became come to appear. This tragic Kaoru to people of the Queen seems to be unexpected, might be made to look you in your concern from the other world. The mountain to Matero also issued a use of reading the sutras. It was set up as soon as the use to the chanting, also to other places. Toward the court also, begging your spare time also toward the private residence. The festival of the gods. But was also Kaoru way the only complete recovery of the princess allowed to lose chance to Marie. Because it is not being obtained by crime. Not visible disease because there was. Efficacy has never appeared, sick himself. But is somehow if I hope to Buddha and I want you to ikase. If the Queen, since it is that they want a remembrance to death and fortunately they became ill. There is no efficacy of prayer, it is not. It is better to die. Chunagon is of being thus took care of him have become Sukakiri. There is no other way than their own after the so healing is to his wife. The saying are so. See now ardent love and of later day instead in love of. It also will be resent. Agony that will not constantly is disagreeable. If in case it was not possible to die in this disease will become and unentrusted to it is a sickly. So to what each other's love since it is becoming to be kept forever. Be by all means do so. Banara Brandor princess is made to think deeply. Even to die, but is to consider all means when to do and also that of the priest and to live. And is not idasa to Kaoru be heard in such a up. Medium to you up, I because my illness feel like not to you by becoming your disciple of Buddha, because you referred to as examples survived of life also. Please ask to Acharya that the from you. I tried saying, everyone is crying. There the Lord said outrageous. And nani you is shy to the worry Chunagon like does not know whether this sports your discouragement how. Nobody said a thing. The only disease queen to not try to Toritsugo this desire is to Kaoru patron was wondering sorry. That Kaoru for the queen of the disease are staying in Uji. Then and listen to talk to it. There was even bother coming people to entertain. People of subordinates that guess the manner in which I love deeply. People in the profession had been madly running to around to ask a variety of prayer. Today is Kaoru to be a day of Section V had Omoiya, Kyoto. Wind is badly. Had been roughed down snow also hurriedly. Weather in Kyoto is Kaoru was feeling a desperately kokoroboso as the but my is also a kind. To the point to be considered whether it will end up not accustomed to this person and the husband and wife, but was a urameshi of fate. Such it should not think too late. Nostalgic get Fudani. Just had Omawa Shikuye but his wish there when that door thing of that I think is before. Even for a while, day gave me while not bright. I wonder if Kakikomori date cage also there is also the time to live a heart to Okayama which is not visible. Is Kaoru song, from us have of this man who is also asked to power. When there are Kaoru always close seat. Are you in order to blow up the rough wind and Kijo went toward the other side. While well his aged wife had hidden there for evil rules. Too soon to bed Kaoru by. What kind of your mood? Though I'm praying to become made you willing to concentrate the mind. Without the effect. Is not that sad it was no longer able to cause another voice even ask me. I went to leave after a will. No matter how reproachful once you become it, quote, tearfully saying, yet it seems to have become another consciousness dim queen was hiding well his face with a sleeve. Know the signs of Kaoru. If there is a little while even sure to you, but also I may want my name talk. Nothing wilt thou only to fade away as you tried to will thank Kanashu. I know that they're of the deeply mercy calm Kaoru. Finally, but a man of tears are flowing endlessly. Even if Makimo I think do not want to know that I at least ask around. To do with the stand of weeping voice iodide was also no. In what fate in their own. While not love as long as the heart. Well, the unexpected must break up with this person just does not taste a lot of reproachful, I think. If given, even felt a little bad. Suffering of those who lose thereby also at least will become possible to appease. And it was Kaoru stare, I think. A more and more Karen. Beautiful point just as found. Arm also unchanged hue while seem also like a shadow thinner ephemeral, etc. As supple beautifully white. Night clothes wearing the soft white clothes are a little impelled to bottom. It is of such as lay the dolls there is no thing called the body just in. Hair was on the floor in an amount of from about unexpected appeared to too much. Looking at the per dropped from the pillow of to beautiful glossy. This person will from being what is saved was also spared as much as possible and do not unexpected looks likely. Long Byoga was not doing anything of mending have people, though much better than those that beauty which airs dressed up, even soul while you are watching. So go away yourself in order to meet with this person it seemed to. If supposed to be made you go finally abandon me. And I'm not alive, but people's lives are not made to think. If I will be, not must be alive, I think let entered into deep mountain. Just leave as to after only in the discouraging state your sister like at that time appears to pain. Quote, Chunagon in order to want to say things even a little, and try to say that of the people that would have the most interest is sick. Princesses again a little pulled the sleeve that was hiding the face. Because what I thus had a premonition that ends with as short-lived and painful that it seems not. To solution your courtesy. The remaining going people had hope so and as us think instead of me but I. If you please you into the following. I was wondering, what was? No matter how peace of mind, it only will I also feel that not die to regret. Quote, and he said, should we just something like this sad thoughts will was my destiny. Because it is what you did not have the feel to be anyone couple of other than you. You such not rebelled in your favor. Afresh it will not be in shame at that it is too bad. But I do not nasaru worry. About that person is, quote, the Kaoru had been coaxed well is, to see that it is Fu princess's pain. Let Yobier to the nearby and monk of dual cultivation. Was the Kaji well Genwasu people of efficacy. And I had been praying also contains in itself. In order not Kaoru has become a deliberately Ito Ishiku life. Such as the Buddha, which is about to put deeply into the road. Or would not then to be such a great sadness now. Look for dead princess of the total angular as something of plants will wither within that was the sad thing. Cannot also be stopped pulling. Kaoru enough to want to ashizuri I think. People were no longer willing to habakaru also what I think. Kimi in to see the deathbed is a sense also of myself gave me the intense grief and want to die. Together. The queen you are drowning in tears. Advice likes of wives of example. To say that the immediate family is supposed to be is not my best regards to Tanku beside if such was carried out forcibly with the other chambers. Source Chunagon also is looking at the dead. This would not be true. I think that it is a dream. Asked to close by aloft the light of the platform. But was to look at the lover. Hidden in a little sleeve and that face is also just seems asleep. And the lying beautifully without any place that seems to have changed to princess. Or if there is a way to put in not separated from there permanently as of corpse of the jewel beetle. Which was dried in this state. I thought also such a thing. When a person is fixed the hair in order to dispose of his mortal remains. Quickly aromatic stood. It was the smell of the remains of the day was alive nostalgic. Any point in the will of good. Except the Mononoke difficult obsession is there is a drawback to this person. Was too perfect woman. If the death of this person is the Buddha of expedient to be to lead his own to faith. Fear. Such as is also. Although our praying to Buddha want to be Shohensha enough to forget sadness. Sorrow because I was just more and more deepened is. I will try to be in at least early smoke. It was also painful that the cause has ordered. Such as that of the funeral ritual. Kaoru remember feeling like walking the sky as went to Sojo. but went further. Feel the fragility to Sansoda did not stand a lot, even smoke of cremation. At most the number of monks to memorial confined is Koko Roboso. If it was to be a little Nagasamu, are you in half-sunk? Think that embarrassed even to those seen from people as unfortunate woman was bereaved to anyone. This person was also about not appear to live princess Hyobu, but is from the Lord of the Temple of, was also awarded the memorabilia of your consolation. The sister Kun of the feelings that convinced that reproachful. And I think those who have been made to them I flip without finally relaxed. I'm glad you are accepted, and I did not think Chunigan the opportunity to be of this time was desperate to taste the sadness of life. But mind you, want a priestess thereof. Are hesitate servants Obo Shimeshi of Sanjo of the Mother Temple, at the same Koko Roboso of your circumstances in this, while the agony think is in the things that cannot be abandoned. Late, as I said, the queen. People were also good to marry the year middle instead of dying in the short-lived. And think the same thing that was divided himself, saying even if we that at that time my mind to change the love of the opponent did not familiar. If was to be the pensive and in such a lonely person, I become only talk with two people as a partner to endure the deceased. I thought even as it is, also not to leave to Kyoto to trifle. You know that you are muffled by the pensive. Know that even the world of people Kaoru the deceased had loved deeply, including the court of consolation from various quarters. Use has visited a lot of mountain cottage. The day of after death of the queen will stand to Zunzan. For 7 days neglect the unexpected source Chunigan for deep funeral of the deceased, also aspirations to a lot of that precious to the memorial service of 7 days as well. That cannot be put in mourning because it is not a good man who lost his wife. A particularly large princess looking at the sleeves of the dark of respect and serve the wife. Et al. Dye black. Karina Tui Tatsuru tears. Propriety defunct as Karinari unexpected dyed the color of the shoulders. Thing is tweeted. The people who are wet to tear the sleeves of single clothing under the shallow Benny was beautiful. Only in gloss. While looking through the wives, another sadness became died of the princess. That will please the Lord as much. Come in here, we have been already domesticated. And I think to be a welcome back done, so memorial is farewell regrettable and do not sad. What a fate. And so Nasu, deeper in your callous with your two-way to the sincerity. I and did not become your sign to go in. Said had each other to cry with. Regarded as your memento of that person here of the princess. I would like a various old story in the future. We want to also be heard. Please do not be Obo Shimeshi as others. Although Kaoru to say to you in their own in all respects been ashamed, sincerely think that a woman who Hakume did not try to talk it over, you are still in vivid beauty. It is more of the queen, and the place seems to daughter, but noble place had perhaps those that nostalgic soft JoJo serving as a beauty. I thought Kaoru touched the thing in our inferior to the deceased. Snow dark down living day. Is Kaoru who was all day musings. The sky took so proud of December of the month to say that though Seijin is hard to love, and have looked wound up mistakes. Bel Matera, the voice has been faintly sounded and was it today. If nay become the world should live a month late, flip the sky go to cherishing load Suihi. Since the wind became violently, but the fry door was of letting everyone pull down. The moon that dwells in NVL of Isavuji River that were transferred the Yamakage of 4 sides. Looked beautiful. To make such a quaint even in the garden of polished of the house of Kyoto are those hard to see. But bet Kaoru thought, if you were that person, event also gave me a live to Biotai. And I think I would have been able to talk about looking at such scenery together. I felt such sadness as overflowing out of the chest. Moderation traces consumption in Yukashiki, in the snow of a mountain of cash and drugs. Takoi Awabi. Statement of the gate that Snow Mountain Doji was taught to demons to seek the death also want to get cast it himself into the river. Because Kaoru tried to out a deceased thought should say to regret that investigator. Chunagon is called together wives to everyone buckwheat, had heard by and talk, and it is a fine of a state, because it is a woman who knows the kind CEO. Young people found in it had a favor at the thought of more shim to the body. Old was people did not been spared the deceased also by looking at Kaoru. Also it was now heavily of your disease, and we may leave disappointed in your attitude of Hyobu Lord of the Temple like that the will to think you in respectability even embarrassing to you like and truly. You're in Biobo Shimeshi up to much and now hidden, while just Irishai with only continued a pessimistic the world in one person centered. And now's it also like a lost, such is your appetite, there seems to have my overlap your weakness to your weakness. To not to show you the seal of sports pensive on the surface. Deeply there then was Su Sshi needs suffering in the chest it was now not pushed to marry you like. In it of Chichimiya like and was that rebelled against in your last caution. There is always the we may leave in your heart of bitter it. Quote, to say such a thing. When the time said that such a large princess sometimes became sometime this you say. Nobody was crying endlessly. And was the deceased a painful pensive and because of his good offices. There is heard a Kaoru I want to irreversible if those that can irreversible mistakes. As well as death itself lover. All of life is Urameshiku. The Nenso if you are in fu pathetic. And if I think went to sleep had been awake immediately. When the cold of the mind of the early morning of the snow. And I heard many people voice. And even Umanoashi sound. Who are these before dawn to divide the snow and could not have come close to the cottage and monks? Are also thought to hear it? It Hyobu Lord of the Temple in Karajinu appearance which is not noticeable was became come visit. Became come entered wet the badly clothes. The sound that made the sumato to your beating. Kaoru who imagined that would have you in the temple. Had entered secretly into the chamber of the better to become a shadow. But its left is still the day of the memorial of the queen. And Obo Shimeshi so is not bare to Gakari mind. Here while now been Neo was a blow to throughout overnight snow temple as became year arrive. Because there was the visit that did not also Basa also assumed this kind of bad weather. But will the good be carried out as diverted also Urameshi is. Are you in did not bring myself to speak there. It was ashamed of the time that had continued to agony the sister in the name of your sincerity of the temple, is also supposed to be us with all your sincerity is now because it was not able to also be remedied the feeling, and the other slow, there then you think in deeply that there is no solution. A result that every one of my wife encouraged preaching reason. Finally will want to see you at things over. Mia says you have neglect until now not the all those sports up. Just by your freshly in or patiently listening. Even this people, appear to people of lonely life, such as the presence or absence, followed by signs that are considered whether mither than made if also the look. The temple is made in your sorrow. Was supposed to be not in your way will become you to feel that everything may also be at the expense of today. Things over. Not like Mia want to direct the eye but was to become in a variety you complained that you could have become as a little person very comfortable too. And say, Queen continues Anami. This thing Kaoru to hear, call a good wife convenient to be relayed to you in. The attitude also looks ill-advised against here of sincerity. The beginning is also then the most also become uncomfortable you think the house, which remains in the bait. Now a little becomes Shikorio the light of the circumstances. You antipathy although sure you want made to your treatment to the extent that the grave the cause. But would you painful because there was no of your experience up to now. Quote, and was the advice like, to you it is also shameful to think of Kaoru in which heard it. I was finally no longer bring myself to say the answer to the story of the temple. UI is so mind strong. And Nani my mood before, not had also talked about the surrounding circumstances. Do it have forgotten all your, you say will be the temple has become your 10 outliving the day. More weather becomes worse at night. while listening to the sound of the wind or rays blow more and more. But come continue to come tan on the floor of the lonely to bean also seems truly to contact. Tragic. The queen also hear the story and things over it was to be. Make a myriad of God to witness. To become you talk about change not love from now. Because the queen is. Why also feel unpleasant and will become accustomed to be and to say you to so woman there but. Unlike think you Tomashiku have far away. Towards the good your appearances. Is to see that so come mourn for myself. It was not yet in the not move even mind. But had just here just. What I ask orchid over the fate of the transient also Izuru Omoi the Kishikata. And, he said in the first faint voice. It was still tired less than Obo Shimeshi to the temple. The fate mites in front of the short kimono and Omoi Nanami I Selmuka's Zeranin. All are in the fleeting lights and such that hate you people would but say not to Atsukuri. Both will we say became the lot of you soothe. Because I feel also there then not my best regards. You've entered to the back says in. Also Obo Shimeshi so embarrassed glance. The house became revealed you a night to leave the Tansoku. Although I made a cut-off of about a sense even to blame the woman as his. Too heartless and treatment is better when it fell of reproachful tears. Let alone cold of tears and agony she is in how much of that time as will be felt. Is to think you. This is supposed to make neglected you in the past. Chunagon is lived in the master backlash of the parlor. Use is called the Fukiasui also any wife. Turn to look at the causes or give the chosen to the temple with their own orders. This person after you have lost a lover life will be sorry to be you think of. It was to also look at a quaint thing. Pale and badly becomes pale. Even Kokoro Guro Shiku Miyafu that haggard and thought about also look was dimly lean as to Obo Shimeshi. It became a revelation the words of your consolation from sincerity. Albeit that there is no effect even if too late to say out the upset of the front and rear of the sad heart of the death of a lover. But, while the Kaoru know that more than anyone else is myself I would like you to listen to this man. Their own weakness if dare will reveal. It has been hesitation to think you and stubborn man who brood over one thing. Had to Koto Basakuna, because there was a people who are crying living day to day. Rather than be unsightly to that will change the face. To see is finally clean and shiny as of the temple. If the woman, heart to this person be sure to like you and even if and when will move. The house began to be also such imagine from your own amorous of your mind. Somehow becomes the point as your concern. Somehow also avoid reproach of walking attend to much avenues to you in it began to become I want with your transfer to Kyoto in order to also not excluded the resentment. It does not appear as something like this lover of mine is easy to open up. Now one day be heroes because I was acclaimed to be your mind that would be to Obo Shimeshi worse in the imperial palace. The temple was trying to be your way. Although the temple tries to move the hearts of lovers with all the sincerity it became tear efforts, and those that are painful is the indifference of the other party. As till think you this one point. Also sent this morning nothing of words you were the were attributed you a house of medium without. To since is the less sunny day without such a mountain village if the end of the year. Let alone Nuji and the Furitsumoru snow without any day is not a rough weather. Is Kaoru who live while the pensive. Also saw the continued dream forever and it seemed. Hove Shirjakunichi Princess of the Total Angular was also done by hand of actively Kaoru. This remains the unexpected can be as also hold up until the new year. I think because it is there here on there which is to wait long yourself is beginning the Gohahamaya. Kaoru to be more and more pull up or also remember the deep new sorrow. All the weight of this man lived to come. Lonely one people that the life that followed were many of the people in and out of mourning is going to disappear without trace help. In Masa, also at the time of the death of the princess it was sad once. Better than even in the intimacy of the time came to visit at intervals before. Long stay with servant was mourning familiar Kaoru Jomi of depth. A lot of caring ranging from spiritual things to the material things this wives and weather sent people to as long as today I've been drowned in a tretan. From the Lord of the Temple Hyobu, as I mentioned, because it may be a variety of difficult to go to there. I had been tormented mind. Found a way to finally welcome to soon for you today. Your letter that there was to you in Nakamaya becomes to know the relationship between the Queen of the Uzi. And I think that is showing the sorrow of so much also Trunagon that has lost its sister Kun in a lover. Not think anyone is as lover of moderate par when the will of a good woman. And sported your sympathy to Hyobu Lord of the Temple of your mood. It is there was a softly Seth the so attend from time to time picked to the west of the pair of two articles of the hospital. Sincerely Biobo Shimeshi wanna be you with the royal maid to woman Ichinomiya. While at Hyobu Lord of the Temple whether mither than so come in Gishi becomes you think. Put that person to the nearby. The I always your can be made to Biobo Shimeshi with is that I'm happy. Was also Baso also this story to Kaoru. Although it is myself was trying to Mukayo a large princess by the dedication of the Sanjo of the house. And were you in that I wanted to at least the people of my house to keep sake of the person. But also I feel to be in addition Kokorobasoku this thing Kaoru met. Emotions such that becomes suspicious of the temple throw it all. If the person's guardian is not in his other, it was to have a sense of duty was enigmatic brother. Thank you for your viewing. If you like please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.